Hello, and welcome to the Being Human podcast, where we explore what it means to be human, physically, mentally, and spiritually. We upload an episode of this podcast every single week, so whether you're new here or especially if you're returning and you have not yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button. That is the best way you can help support the podcast, and it also ensures you do not miss any of these episodes. On this episode of the podcast, I sat down with Shay Ingram. Shay is one of the top prospects in UK MMA. We went through Shay's whole journey in the sport, starting from when he began kickboxing at just 6 years old. What really struck me about Shay's journey was not just how young he started, but how intensely and how sophisticated his training was from such a young age. From basically the age of 10 years old, Shay was training 5 times a week. By the age of 13, he was training with adults, sparring adults at UTC. Had his first fight at 15 years old. Shay really has just been on it from the get-go. He's been committed from the get-go, and he's just never seemed to have wavered from the path. He's got a huge amount of momentum in his favour. I feel confident in saying we'll be seeing him in the UFC in a short amount of time. So it was really great to sit down with him and hear about not only everything that has come up until this point, but everything that is to come in future too. Really inspiring and fun conversation. Shay's a great guy. I hope you enjoyed this conversation. If you do, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, drop a comment below, share it around on social media, and hit that subscribe button as well. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, make sure to hit that follow button and rate the show 5 stars too. Thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and thank you for supporting Being Human. The Being Human podcast is brought to you by Mr. Bassett's Grappler's Coffee and Mr. Bassett's Grappler Soap. If you're a grappler or an MMA fighter, this is the only coffee you should be drinking. Mr. Bassett's Grappler's Coffee is the most potent coffee I have ever consumed in terms of its caffeination, but it has a beautifully smooth taste. Therefore, it's going to get you firing on all cylinders while still tasting delicious. And Mr. Bassett's Grappler Soap is an all-natural soap that's going to nourish your skin and help keep those skin infections at bay, so you can stay on the mats and keep wrist locking, punch choking, and oil checking your training partners into oblivion. All you need to do to pick up these babies or any of the other natural goods Mr. Bassett has on his store is to head to mrbassett.com and use the code WAG10 to get 10% off your order. WAG, all caps, 10 to get 10% off your order. And now presenting Being Human with Shay Ingram. So yeah, let's go from the beginning. When did you start training?
So I started training when I was 6.
Okay.
Not a long time. I'm 21, but a long time ago now. I started in a kickboxing gym. And my dad took me there. My dad took me there because, not because he did any martial arts. He just said to me, I didn't want to stand on a cold, wet football pitch every Saturday, Sunday. So I thought I'd stay inside. And then here I am now. So my dad didn't want to get cold and wet, so I get punched in the head for a living. That's what's happened, basically.
It's funny, I always thought that, because people think people that are involved in combat sports are really tough, which obviously they are. But I always used to think I'd rather be in the gym, getting punched in the face and, getting choked and all of this than playing rugby in December, like cold, hard ground.
But I did that as well, to be fair. I did it for school, but I couldn't play for Warriors. They wanted me to go for a trial, but I broke my wrist. And then I was meant to do my first ever jiu-jitsu competition like 2 weeks after. My dad was like, "You're not doing that no more." I said, "Okay, I'm not playing rugby no more then." That was the end of that.
So he was very keen on prioritising...
Well, he paid. He paid the cost, so he had to go at me.
Financially.
That's it, basically. Yeah.
Very smart man.
Yeah.
So, 6 years old, started kickboxing. What kind of style was that? Was it Muay Thai or more traditional?
No, it was just traditional kickboxing, like no leg kicks. More points fighting, really, which I weren't any good at. They called me the fridge. I was mini fridge back then, so get my leg that high was just a long day, basically.
Did you compete?
I did, a few times, to be fair. I won 1 points competition, ever. That was it, and I was like, that'll do me forever now. Like, that sound like... But I competed a few times, and we did some full contact ones, but when you're like 7, 8, it's not really full contact, is it? Yeah.
Do you remember what you were like then? Because I did... an episode of the podcast with Jack, Jack Henschel, last week. Yeah. And he was saying when he started kickboxing, I think he started around the same age that you did. He said, and obviously, Jack, really experienced amateur now, like known for being like, he's not afraid of a firefight, not afraid to get stuck in there and have a dirty, grueling brawl if he needs to. But he was saying when he first started out, it's not like he was like that from the get-go. He said he was afraid of getting hit. He was quite a timid guy as a child.
I think I've gone the opposite way.
Yeah.
Like I used to like really like having a fight basically. Go in there, let's have a fight. Like that's why I was never good at the points. So I just wanted to go fight basically. And now I'm a gritty wrestler, so I don't want to be punched. I'm like that last one. Oh Jesus Christ! But yeah, I don't know though. But I mean, I was a kid. I mean, there was no fear really, was there when you were a kid? Like
yeah,
just
I guess you're either one or the other.
That's what it is, isn't it? But I was a real shy kid. I still kind of am now. Like I didn't like competing in front of others. Like it was just like, oh, I don't like this. I'd always throw up. I'd cry. Okay. So like if we went to a competition and it was an hour away, I'm crying the whole time. Even when I get there, I'm crying. And then when I didn't cry, I'd throw up. So I don't know. I mean,
but that was more because you were competing in front of people rather than
it was nerves.
The actual act of fighting.
Yeah. It was nerves. I was just so nervous.
Okay.
Like, but it's weird because now like I don't really get nervous for a fight. That last one, I had zero nerves. I remember being sat in the hotel room on the day and being like, oh shit, I'm going for a fight. I'm going for a fight. This is like, as soon as I got in the car, switch. I was completely fine. And normally, I get to like the walkout. Joe, you do the walkout. Like you get put in the backing cage, or you get a little. I'm like, normally I'm like having a panic attack then. I'm like, oh, I can't get out of this now.
Usually very nervous.
Yeah, I was completely fine. But that's kind of my downfall. Like I did it in one of my amateur fights against Mateus Urquhart. Same feeling. No nerves, no hardest fight. One of my hardest fights. And then that one I just had, that was definitely my hardest fight I've ever had. But like, I was listening to Tom's podcast. I was, And I was
about to bring this up.
He said, funny enough, he said that's the only fight he had 100% confidence in. That's the only fight I've had 0% confidence in. Mate, I swear to God, I remember getting like the message, oh, you're fighting Thomas Hogan. Okay, that's fine. As soon as I'm getting knocked out. I saw the last fight, I was like, I'm getting knocked out. I remember being on the stairs before we walked out. Like, you're here. I walked first, didn't I? Because he brought about 470 people. So they were sending me first. I was like, oh, okay. And I remember being stood there and like bounced up and down. I had my coaches there, Fabs, stuff like that. And I was just sat there like, I can't do this. I was having a panic attack. I was having shit. And then I saw Bertie Oakes walk down with the bout, laughing, smiling. I thought, oh, fuck, I gotta go for a fight. Shit, I gotta go for a fight.
Is that when he kneed that guy in the face? Was it that kind
No, that was after that was. That was after. But they were like, oh, he's gonna smoke him in a round. Like, I thought, all right, let me get ready for this. 5 rounds he went. I remember being sat there like, oh, I'm having a panic attack. But like, mate, I literally went into that fight, the goal was not to be hit. I went in there, I was like, I've got to get hit. I went in there, he was saying about the left hook that stunned me. Mate, I went in there, I was like, I need to take this. I need to know mentally. So I went straight at him. The game plan was to kind of be a bit tentative, then get your takedown. Like I did in the second round. I was like, no, I got to go. I've got to get hit. I've got to know, like, I can take this.
You got to jump into the water.
Yeah. Went in there, got smacked with my right hand. I was like, oh, yeah, fair enough. And the left hook come, and it just clipped me off the top of the head. I remember being like, oh, then all that, like, and then all that. So then my confidence started building, and then that was the result, like. But I remember him saying about the post-fight, mate, that was bad, that was. I didn't mean to say all that. But my problem was, for 8 weeks, all I heard is, this kid's the best. I didn't have a chance. And I remember being sat there like, fuck, they don't know. Like, no disrespect to
him. What did you say post-fight?
I can't remember. It was it kind of just all come out.
Yeah.
Because I remember, like, even going there. I went there for the rules meeting. So it was the first time I ever fought and got on ticket. When I walked into the rules meeting, it was just me and my dad. And then all your lot, like the hardest one, sat in a corner, staring me out. I was there like, oh, fucking hell, like, so this is really awkward. I didn't know where to look, so I'm just looking away. I'm just like, trying to listen to the rules meeting. Like, I remember getting there. And then one of my coaches said, look, because he knew I was nervous, mush, he was like, it don't matter if you win or lose. He was like, it just don't matter. Just go in there, go perform. What happens, what happens. So I thought, okay, sweet. And then all I can remember is losing. I was stood on the edge of them stairs thinking, oh, fuck. But I got in there and was arguing my best performance. So I think the nerves, you need them. You need them nerves.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
It's such a paradox, isn't it? Because what Tom said and what you said, it's in alignment. And I think everyone says exactly the same thing. The ones you're not nervous for are the ones you should be. And the ones you are the ones where, in retrospect, you needn't have been. But if you weren't nervous for them beforehand, then that wouldn't be the case in retrospect. It's the nerves that make you sharp, make you perform.
Yeah. So I remember, I think I watched no video. I just knew the knockout. So the week before I started watching the videos. It was a week before a fight. Never did any. Like I would let all the coaches do it. I said, I can't watch this. I can't watch him keep knocking this kid out, man. Because I couldn't go to sleep. Every night, I'd struggle to sleep. For 8 weeks, struggle. I'd be like, oh my God, he's going to knock me out. Every time I want to sleep, I'll get knocked out. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, man. I was like, if I get knocked, at the end of it, I remember going out and I just saw his fans giving me. I was there like, oh, yeah, this is my time now. I was like, yeah, sweet. I saw it. It buzzed me a bit. I thought, yeah, sweet. I'm going to have to go do something about this. And that was what I ended up like.
In that moment, all of that energy, especially when you've got like a sea of Geordies giving you that energy.
Well,
you're either going to shrink or you're going to
go. Well, I'm used to normally having the most fans.
Yeah,
I sell a lot of tickets.
It's your home show.
Yeah. I sell a lot of tickets. So I was like, I think I sold about 40, 50. So I was like, it should be balanced. Like, I remember just hearing them sing the whole time. I remember being on top of him in the 5th round thinking, fair play, like they're still going. So I'm fucked. I'm laying on top of him, holding them, thinking, fair play, like they're still going, like fucking hell. And I think that's another thing. What was like, I've got to say some shit here because I've just been pouted for the whole time, like so.
Yeah.
But they were singing my song. There's only one Thomas Owen. I was like, fucking, I normally listen to this. Like, I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? Like, but I think, like, I see it a lot. Like when you get booed and people say, no, they want the other person. You kind of, you big yourself up a bit more, or like you said, you can kind of shrink in like fold under the pressure. You know what I mean? I think I'm more the one who. When the pressure's on, I'll win. That's why I feel like throughout my career, like there's a reason why I haven't lost because I just feel like you're gonna have to kill me. It sounds real bad, but like it's in front of everyone. Like I know, like there's this pressure was put on me because I'm the only mixed martial artist from Worcester. It's a boxing city. You probably know that. There's a load of boxers. Some girl just won a world championship over in the States. We got Owen Cooper, who's just lost, unfortunately, but he lost his bouts. But he had the bouts in the boxing. And, like, I'm the only person in the MMA scene. So, like, everyone wants to see the MMA, come out to see me. And, like, every single time, there's some serious pressure on me. I was talking on Tim's little interview I did with him. Like, I felt like the pressure does get to me a bit. But I read a quote, and it was like, you need the pressure. You kind of, like, need the pressure to... Like, it's a privilege. Pressure's a privilege. I'm kind of privileged that all these people want to come see me. They want to see me win. So I feel like when it comes down to it, I'm a bit like, this person's going to have to kill me. Like that last fight, like hit me with them 2 shots. I remember looking up and just seeing the ceiling. And I come back down, I see 2 gloves coming at me, and it hit me. And there was buzz. I was buzzed, and I thought, shit, like I've just been told I need to win this round. But I was there like, in my head, I was like, he's going to have to kill me. Like, he's going to have to actually kill me. That's the same thing I had with Tom. All my fights. I fought Christian Soda. He's real good now. He's fighting this weekend, I think. He took on short notice. But, like, I remember going there and his fans were chanting for him. I thought, this kid's going to have to kill me here. Like, this is the way I'm going to go out. I feel like if I lose, I'm going to be killed. Because it sounds real bad, but I feel like I won't want to give up, like, kind of.
I think you've got to have that mentality if you want to be the best you can be, and especially if you want to be the best in the world. Yeah. And obviously, we're going to talk about your future projection and where your goals are. But I think just from knowing the kind of person you are, like...
Yeah.
You want to be world champ, right? You want to be in the UFC. You want to be world champs. You got to be willing to die in there. I mean, thankfully, God bless, no one's died in the UFC. I don't want to jinx it, but I think at some point you will see it. At the end of the day, it's a full contact combat sport. The aim is to hurt one another. And Israel Adesanya said exactly the same thing that you have about his title fight with Kelvin Gastelum. He was saying, and I don't know what the native language is, but he was saying in his native African language, before he went out for that 5th round, he was saying, Ambiako, or something like that. It means heart of a lion. And he was thinking in his head, I'm willing to die. Like in these next 5 minutes, I'm willing to die. And I think a big part of chasing greatness, fulfilling your potential, is being willing to risk your demise. You've got to be willing to basically destroy yourself in order to ascend to that level.
Yeah.
So I think that's a necessary mindset. And all the people that end up getting to the top of the sport, the top of whatever field they're in, they have that mindset.
Yeah, 100%.
And just to touch back on the Tom thing, I said to Tom, I'm sure like you talking at the end was just a bit of relief. The energy of like winning your first amateur title. Exactly. It's an amalgamation of emotions, isn't it? And when it's intense, it's heated like that. At the end of the day, you're bigging yourself up, aren't you? In that moment, you feel like a king. Like, talk to me about that moment. Winning your first amateur title.
It was my second, actually. I won the one before, but like I got stripped of that, I think, because I got offered a fight on that show the same day as Tom. But I said, I want bouts. That's kind of like, I'm amateur, I want bouts. So I took that fight, and I think they stripped me of it, but I don't know. I've still got it. But the first time I won that one on Battle Arena. That was relief, because that was a hard fight. That was the Mateo Sercal fight. Like, I think it was about 10 seconds in, like, in typical Shay fashion, I get smacked with a calf kick. And I remember just feeling my legs shut off. I was there like, oh my God, like, I need to get this guy down. Like, I need to take him down, like, because I can't strike with him. And I ended up striking with him. And it was an awful night, basically, for me. Headaches, hands were hurting. But that was, like, pure relief. Like, you can't really explain the feeling. Like, I don't want to say it's an amateur title at the end of the day. Like, if I'd have lost, I would have lost. I mean, I'd still probably be where I am today. But it was like, I've worked for years to get a bout around my waist. Never had a bout. Never had a bout in kickboxing. Never had a bout. Just jiu-jitsu bouts, basically. But I was very happy. But then it's a lot of time in MMA. Like, it's 10 minutes. You got like a magic 10 minutes. Like, you win that bout. Oh, this is amazing. You sit down in the back, get your wraps off, get your gloves off. I've got to do this again. I've got to go through all this again. I've got to train for 8 weeks. Got to cut the weight. Then I'll go fight someone else. So it's like, I try not to get too high, really, after these wins. Now, when I was younger, when I had my first fight when I was 15, I remember being like, I was in school, funny enough, when I had my first fight. Yeah, it was in the Easter holidays, and I come back, and my English teacher had the fight on the projector.
Oh, really?
And I was there like, yeah, it was cool, but I was there like, this is a bit weird. I'm in a tight little pair of shorts, and I'm naked, and my teacher's showing the whole class. I was there like, I didn't really want it on, but that was from there. But I got really high on that one. Like, I was walking around school, like,
yeah.
Shut the
I
fight,
bet the
mate.
birds loved you,
Just-
mate.
just-
I've seen how the PowerPoint presentation in English.
But like I was like, for a week, I was like, yeah, this is amazing. I'm walking around like, yeah.
So you're
I'm
the man.
I'm the
King
man.
of
Like,
school.
but like, it's kind of like, it wasn't really like that because I've been fighting since I was 6. As soon as I went to high school, everyone knew I was already a fighter. Like, I had a cousin the year above me. Everyone in the year above me knew me. And I had a brother who just left. So all the people in the college in my school knew me. So it was kind of like everyone kind of knew who I was already.
You already had that reputation.
Yeah, so it was like, I never really had any trouble in school. Never went through trouble, really. Just, kids being kids. I just sat back and just, if you want to fight, we'll fight. But no one really wanted to fight me. So it's kind of like, I was all right through school. But going back to it, yeah, like, it's relief. You're really happy. Like, this is amazing. But that ain't the end goal. Winning an amateur title is not the end goal. Winning a second amateur title isn't the end goal. But like the Thomas Owen one, yeah, I was on top of the world, mate. That cost me about 2 hours. 2 hours of like, yeah, get in, like, you know what I mean?
Sheer relation.
And then as soon as like it gets to about 1 a.m, I'm laying in my own bed. And I'm like, oh, fuck, I've got to do this all over again. Like, and cutting down to 66 used to be, that was horrid, mate. I used to like, I'm up at 70 now, and but like, I think I would have probably killed myself at 66. I used to run 10K every day.
Yeah.
All year.
Just to get the weight
All
down.
year. Yeah, just keep my weight low. I used to walk around it like, I was meant to fight 10 in lockdown. This was in lockdown still. It was meant to fight in September. But I remember, like, because I ran so much throughout lockdown, I was walking around like 73 kilos. But I was like eating 700 calories, 1,000 calories, just like dying, basically. My only treat was like a Ben and Jerry's on the weekend, like for like months and months. But yeah, that was my cut to 66, basically. 10K every day. When I fought Tom, like, I was running 10K every day. I don't think there was any way that I would have got outworked in there.
Yeah,
like,
I was going to say, like, on the plus side, it meant your cardio, your gas tank.
But I didn't know sprints.
Sky high.
I never used to do sprints.
Yeah.
I've only just started doing sprints with Coach Johnny, basically. Like, last year, I started with him now, like a year ago nearly. But that's, I made it 10 times better. But then 5-minute rounds, mate. Like, it's a lot different. It's a lot. I remember holding him up this last kid up against the cage and looking at the timer and seeing 2 minutes left. I was like, fuck it, man. There's 2 minutes left. I thought, I'm going to have to try and get him down here. And he wouldn't go down. I was like, oh, fuck me. Like, you know what I mean? But yeah.
Do you think that suits your style more, though, the 5 minutes?
I think so. I think I'll be able to show more of my skill set with 5 minutes because, like, I say to the lads at the gym, the amateurs, I say, if you take someone down in an amateur fight, you've won. If you get them down early in that round, you know how to keep someone down. You've won the round because there's no get-ups in amateur MMA, really, because the round's so... the round's so short. By the time the ref wants you to work, I've got 20 seconds left. Like, you stand me up, I'll throw a few jabs, and we're going back to the corner. Whereas now I can kind of show my striking more. So I've been striking since I was 6. But when I get in there, it kind of like, I shit myself a bit. I'm there like, oh, this last one I did, I was like, he's got 4-ounce gloves on. The kid fought in glory. I was thinking, don't want to get hit by these, like, and then I ended up fucking being pouted by him, basically. But at least I know I can take a shot now, you know what I mean?
So, started kickboxing at 6. What was did like a few points comps, that kind of thing. What was the next step from that?
I started BJJ when I was 9. And it was because my kickboxing coaches actually did MMA, basically. So they just said, we're going to start doing a jiu-jitsu class. Okay. So they let us come along. So I started doing jiu-jitsu from there. I think I was like 8, 9. Should be about 8, 9. And I started doing the gi. I used to always do the gi, but, you know, for MMA, like, you just sack the gi off, don't you, basically? Like, when I'm 40, it's all said and done. My brain's rattled. I'll go back to the gi, but for now, it's fine. But, yeah, from there, I started doing jiu-jitsu. No competitions. It was just like, kids were just going through the moves, armbar, rear naked. That was it, really. But then when I was 10, I moved out of the kickboxing, basically, because I was growing too old for kickboxing. It was a kids' class, basically. So I went to my first MMA gym, but I was meant to be 13. You had to be 13 to sign up. I was 10. But lucky enough, I was a big kid. So I kind of like, my dad was like, yeah, he's 13. I swear to God, he's 13. They went, yeah, okay, come in. So I started doing it from there. And I remember... that's where I started my MMA. It was in in Worcester, Trojan Free Fighters. It's not there anymore, but there was the Gloucester one, and then the Gloucester one opened the Worcester one, basically. So I went to the Worcester one, and that's where my MMA started, really. From there, yeah.
And what was the training like at that point? Were you having a lot of sparring, or was it just simple drills?
I weren't sparring. I don't think I sparred until... We sparred in the classes. You know, when you do like your boxing class, and you spar at the end. You do like just little... It weren't like an actual, like, you turn up, get your kit on, do the warm-up, then you go into spar, and it was just like, well, we spar at the end of the class, we do about 4 rounds, and then you go home. That was it, really. Yeah. Until I was around, I want to say 13, 14, I started doing... Maybe younger. Maybe 12, 13. I was doing it. It was a Saturday class.
Were you doing separate disciplines? So would one class be like a boxing class?
If I can remember, we did MMA on a Monday night. We did jiu-jitsu on a Tuesday night, MMA on a Wednesday, jiu-jitsu on a Thursday, and then Friday. I can't remember what Friday was. I think it was Thai. I think we used to do Thai on a Friday. Yeah.
Okay, so you were getting... How often you were training? Like 4 or 5 times a week?
I was training 5 times a week.
5 times a week at 10 years old.
Yeah.
All in the separate disciplines and mixing it together as MMA.
Yeah.
So that's an early age to really be starting and building from.
Yeah. Well, I think I was like, do you know, this new generation where they're starting at 6. I think I was kind of like the start of that generation.
Yeah.
Like now, like I was doing everything at like 10.
When you were 10, what year would that have been? That would have been 11 years ago, 2013.
Yeah, about 2012, 2013. Yeah.
Okay, so really like on the cusp.
Yeah.
Because I started training when I was 13, 14 years old. And I went to a gym that was traditionally like a kung fu kickboxing gym.
Yeah.
And they started doing a no-gi class, just somebody that had done a little bit and was showing some submissions. But like as a 14-year-old kid, like I trained a couple of times a week. Yeah. We'd go through some drills, do a little bit of sparring at the end. It wasn't, it wasn't
same
anything
as me.
serious.
Yeah, it was just.
But no, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think it's actually a bit of a contrast to you. Like, you were training 4 or 5 times a week.
You were going,
like really kind of getting stuck in with training. Like, things were, it had a full timetable, very. Well, I don't want to say very regimented. But I don't know. It seems like your level of
I was
commitment was higher and it was more sophisticated.
Yeah, my dad just wanted me to get to the house, basically. I think, like, I was a fat kid. Like, go train and like do it. I used to get KFC after, so I was like, yeah, I'm off training, mate. Off we go. Like, I'll do 3 hours in the gym. It don't bother me. But like I think since I was 10, I've been training 5 days a week at least till now. Like,
I think that's a massive advantage.
Yeah.
Because I love to know everyone that's a hard worker from a young age. I love to find out where they get it from, because I think some people are born with it. Some people, as in like innately, genetically, no matter what environment they were put in, they were always going to be wired that way. Some people, I think it's a direct result of how their parents bring them up.
Yeah.
And other people, it's because they got involved with certain things at a certain point in life, or they had a big catalyst in life, or whatever it was, like a relationship breaking down or someone dying. And that seems to be where your work ethic comes from, and where your ability to work comes from. The fact that you were put into it so heavily at such a young
Yeah,
age.
yeah. I think mine kind of comes from all three though. Like my dad, like he's got his own business now, but even when I was younger, like every day he'd be at work, no matter what. Like the other day, like he's come home and he's got a massive cut on his head. And I said, "How have you done that?" He said, I'm holding this thing up at the back, and the spirit levels hit me in the head." And then he just comes home. Next morning, we're back out. We're going back out every single day, no matter what. Unless he's like bedbound ill, he will go to work. Even when he's ill, he will go to work. Same with my mum. My mum would go to work every day, no matter what. Like, but that's kind of what I've seen growing up. Like, just go to work. If you go to work, be disciplined. Like, you're gonna get something out of life. You know what I mean? But I feel like my dad probably goes to work because there's got to be a bit of funding in me. So now, like, since I left school, funny enough, I kind of, when I'm not fighting, do you want me to come with you? Do you want me to come work? Yeah, come on. And then I'll go do the work. But like, just like for me, it'll sound mad to say, but like, it's a nice difference. Like going out and fitting windows in the cold. Like I'm like, it's a bit different scenery. I've never done, like, you know what I mean? Like it's different for me. I enjoy it. But if I had to do it every single day, I wouldn't be like them. I'd be like, nah, I'm not doing this. A little bit of like a stub finger. I'm like, I'm off today, mate. I'm here or something. But yeah, I think that's where it comes from. Like all three, kind of like. But I just enjoy it, mate. Like if I didn't enjoy it, I wouldn't be doing it. I say this to everyone. Like if I woke up every morning thinking, gotta go training, fucking hell, like I wouldn't do it. Like in camp, you wake up in the mornings and go, fucking hell, I gotta go do wrestling today. But it's a difference. Like at the end, you're gonna get the rewards. But like if it was like now, like I ran this morning, I ran for an hour. Like I woke up, I wanted to run. I was like, I'm not going in training this morning. I'm not sparring at the minute, so I'm not going in spar. Let's go for a run. And tomorrow I'll be up at 6:30, and I'll be going to train at 9. Like, but that's the same. Like I'm a bit like that. I love a routine. Every day except for Saturday, Sunday, I'll wake up at 6:30. I got an alarm on. I don't need to wake up at 6:30. I just wake up at 6:30 because
naturally.
Not even naturally. I got an alarm on, and I'll make myself get up. Like the alarm goes, I'm up, I'm gone. That's it. Except for Monday, I was still hanging from Newcastle, so I was like, nah. I'm out for 30 minutes. I'm at 7. I'll get up at 7, but that's it. Like every morning, get up at 6:30. Don't even go for a run. I'll just get up, go downstairs, stick the news on. Get the porridge, eat the porridge, sit there, and then just chill. Like that's. I just like to be up. I like to be ready for the day. Really,
something special about getting up early in the morning. I think mentally, and I would say from a spiritual perspective as well. Up before everyone else, the world's quieter. To me, there's something very powerful about that. Yeah. How many hours of sleep do you like to get?
8.
Yeah.
Oh mate, like 10:30.
Gotta get to sleep.
10:30, everything's off. Everything will be off. In camp, everything will be off. Like the missus, I'll be like, turn your shit off. Like I'm going to sleep at 10:30. Like I'll make sure 10 minutes before everything's off. My head's on the pillow. Out of camp, like I might go to sleep at 11. Might go to sleep at half 11, but it's still 7 hours. Like I'll make sure like I'm getting my sleep still.
Yeah, that's good. So from I was going to say from 13. It wasn't 13. 10 for you.
Yeah.
You'd started training 5 days a week. First fight at 15, was that like a official amateur MMA fight? Was that similar
it was B class rules.
Okay.
It was B class rules.
So what's that? No strikes on the ground?
No strikes on the ground. Yeah.
Okay.
But like going back a little, like I started it, so I was at Trojan from 10 to about 13. And the coaches there was like, they were kind of seeing like I was like really about it. Like, so I remember when I was younger, like mum and dad used to tell me, like people would say, wait until he's 16. Wait until he's 18, he can drink. Wait until this, wait until that. So from then, like I kind of was like, nah, these people, I'm going to prove these people wrong, basically. Like I'm not going to be one of the kids who like, because there was a lot of kids who was like really good at stuff. They get to 16, like 16 and 18, start drinking, start going out. Like that's it. But they don't want to do that no more. So I kind of had that mentality of like, nah, I'm going to prove these people wrong. I'm going to be the best at what I want to do, basically. So
when did you first have that thought?
I can't remember. It must have been around like 11, 12 when I started high school. Like you start getting like told like the adult stuff as a kid. Like that's when I started telling people, so-and-so said you probably won't. Like wait until he's 16. Like that's what a lot of people would tell mum and dad. And I was there like, I can't let them down as well. Because if they're being told wait until he's 16. But my dad used to be like, well, yeah, if he wants to do that, he does that. My dad's kind of accepting. Like if I said tomorrow, don't want to do this anymore, he'd be like, yeah, all right. That's fine. Like, you got to come work with me though. So I'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, that's where I'm going. But they're kind of accepting. But like I was saying, like at 12, 13, I think it was 2017, so however old I was then. I went to UTC in Brum for the first time. So I went there, started training there. Then it shut down. Only a few months after I started going there. So then I had to go back to my old gym in Worcester. I was going back there. Then my dad found Mush on Facebook at Renegade. And that's where all the lads had gone, funny enough. Because I did a sparring session. I went to UTC. I had a coach, a lad called Daz, who he pushed me more into it, like showing me in the cage. Because I never sparred in the cage until we went to UTC. And I sparred some of the lads at UTC. And I remember Leon was sat on the side. And everyone was cornering all the other lads because it was Birmingham versus me, basically. But Leon in my coach was the only one who was like coaching me.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I was like, that's fucking Leon. Everybody's like, you know what I mean? Like, that's mental. Like, and I remember I walked out the cage and he was there. Like,
I mean, this was before. Was he Bama champ at this point?
No, he was in the UFC. He was in the UFC by now.
He
was in the UFC by now. Yeah. And I remember coming out. He said, "Oh yeah, you're real good. Like, keep it up." And then that was a bit more like, "Oh yeah, I can actually do something with this."
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
12 years old.
It was I think I was about 13.
Yeah.
I think it must have been about year 8, year 9.
Again, like still like so
incredibly
young.
But I was like sparring like blokes because I was big. I was a big lad.
How big were you at that age?
Yeah, I must have been like 75 kilos.
Really?
Yeah, about 13, 12. I think when I was in like when I was 11, 12, I must have been about 80. I was just little and fat. I was massive. I was a big kid. Like I remember.
Is your dad built well?
My dad's built well. He's 6 foot. He's about 110 kilos. So, but then my mum's 4'11" and like 50 kilos. So like my boxing coach like jokes. He's like, if your mum was taller, you'd be world heavyweight champion. I was like, yeah, but I'm stuck in lightweight now, really, and I'm stuck in limbo. Like I could probably go to 145, but it would kill me to make 155. 145.
What are you walking around at right now?
I don't know right now. big. Let's leave it at that. Normally, at the minute, I'm trying to like stay a bit more disciplined because like now you're in Cage Warriors, like anything could drop when you just think. So I'm looking.
You want to be ready.
So 82, 83. Like I can make 77 simply. In like if they gave me 4 weeks, I could make 70 easy. But like I remember when I fought Tom, I got it just after Christmas. And I think on New Year's Eve, I didn't like my missus' family had like a spread on that. I had none of it, and I think I was 87 kilos when I started that camp. But when I was at featherweight, I don't think I started the camp underneath 80 kilos. I fought David Komar that same year. I come back from Cyprus. I was 88.7 kilos. Did 8 weeks of camp and I made 65. But I never used to do the bath at 66. I just diet.
Really?
I'd be eating like 1,000 calories though, every day.
Yeah.
So like I'm walking upstairs, I'm like, ooh, I'm passing out like every single time, like by the end of camp. But yeah, like I'm a big boy basically. But that's what they call me, the fridge. So like they say, oh, why aren't you disciplined? I said, I am disciplined. I'm just naturally.
I was going to say, like,
I'm naturally big.
Are you somebody that do you eat a lot of junk or
no, not really. No, I'm disciplined, but like I feel like when I did this last cut, I weighed in at 155.3, which is like what 70.4 kilos, something like that. I drank water for 2 hours. I was 74 kilos, like for 2 hours, 73, 74 kilos. It's crazy. Like I think I just hold a lot of water basically.
Yeah,
which like it's good.
Which is good for
what's going on with me, but like what I do, but. Then it's a downfall because you start eating a bit of crap. Like I have like a nice little takeaway on the weekend. I'll put on about 4 kilos on there. Like what the fuck is that happen? Like you know what I mean? But then you got to like think, it's just a bit of water weight, Shay. Let it come down. Like you'll be all right. Like, but
Dean Truman says the same thing because he's always done big weight cuts, and he says he just cuts weight really well. He can do massive water cuts. He's just got a body for it. Yeah,
but I remember I was meant to fight Aaron Givens, and I got like. I think I started about 10 weeks out, got to 5 weeks out, and I was 78 kilos. Mate, I could not lose any weight. No weight. I was on that low calories. Like, I was done. My lean body mass was 69 kilos. I was trying to make 65.7. And I went to my nutritionist now, Jack, the combat dietitian I work with now. And he was there like, nah, you're going to die. Like, this is bad. Like, what, like, how much you're eating, how much you're training. Like, you can't do it. Just go up. So I moved from my last nutritionist to Jack. We went up to 70 kilos and I fought Soda. I felt real well. And I feel like I've just built into that frame now, that 70 kilo frame. Like, started going to Johnny as well. Started lifting proper weights, doing all the actual S&C. I feel like I'm a proper 70 kilo now. I'm probably not the tallest. Like, Well, but the thing is, like, I was speaking to Jai about this when I first went up. Like, he said they're normally about the same height as you. Just in our gym, like, the lightweights are tall. Like, we got Aiden, we got Jai.
Akon. He's like the longest lightweight you've ever seen.
Leon, even Leon for a welterweight, like 6'2" for a welterweight is big. Like, it's crazy, but it's just size at the end. It's a height, isn't it? I mean, if I went down to the local kebab house at 3 a.m. and there's a tall geezer, I'm not going to go, hold on, mate. I'm not fighting you because you're 6'4". I'm going to clean them out, like, you know what I mean? That's the end of that. Like, I'm going to have to clean them out. But, yeah, like, I think I'm a 70 kilo now. So
yeah. Do you do the whole cutting carbs thing the week up?
Yeah.
Because me, I know I can lose almost 5 kilos just from not having any carbs for 4 days. Eating the glycogen stores.
If I take the carbs out, my weight flies down. But this last cut was, like, the easiest one I've had. Like, good. I think that the Shaq Marne one was bad. Yeah. I was feeling it in the bath, like, but I did it at home, like, because it was on golden ticket. So I just do it at home. But, like, my bathroom's really small. So, like, I'm in this bath and, like, it's red hot in the room. So, like, even I've got my head out and it's so hot still. I was there, like, oh, like, my heart's like boom, 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 boom. I was thinking, fucking hell, like, but as soon as I come out to get the wraps, I was fine. But as soon as I got back in that bath, it was agonising, mate. Cause I was like, open the window, man, open the window. I said, open the door. And my dad was like, I can't open the door because you're not going to sweat. I was like, oh, fucking hell, I was all right. Like, leave it shut then. 30 minutes in there, I was like, Jesus Christ, man. Like, I could feel it heavy on me. I was like, oh. But I made weight all right that time. But, like, you know, I went to the scale and I was 70.35. Dagasau was like, I can't pass you on that. I thought, fuck, you know. I said, just get the towel out, man. I went full on naked, man. I said, just get the towel out. It'll be all right. Like, but, yeah. But going back, like, yeah, my first fight at 15, UTC around then. Then I went to Mush. And that's where I started from Renegade, kind of like, I did the privates with Mush. I was doing like 2-hour privates. And he said, just jump on the classes. He used to take a wrestling class on a Wednesday. So I jumped on there. I went with Chris Mia. I remember going with Chris Mia the first ever time I jumped on the class. And he was like, oh, yeah, he's a good lad. Like, how old is he? I was like 13, 14 at the time. And he was like, oh, yeah, you'll be real good. Like, and then I remember going to the classes then. There was a Thursday night sparring. And always, without fail, me, Jai, Aiden. That was the three. You really used to be there all the time. I used to go in there. We used to spar, like spar, go hard. Yeah, we'd spar. Like, this is when Jai was coming up through Cage Warriors. Like, I think the first camp I was jumped in on with him was Steve O'Keefe, the little guy who fought Lobov in that. Yeah, because I was like that height. So they were like, yeah, gosh, you get in there. I remember we used to go, and I can't remember when it was, but I think they saw on Facebook it was like my 14th birthday. And they come in, and they were like, you're 14. I was there like, yeah. They were like, we thought you were like 30. I was like, nah, I'm 14. And that's where it come from there. So I think I had a lot of respect from that, because I never used to come in like, oh, lads, I'm only 14, 15. Don't hit me hard.
Complained.
Like, no, I used to get in trouble fight. But if they hit me hard, I just hit my hard back. I was there like, well, it's the game we're in, isn't it? Like, that's how it will go. But yeah, that's how it was. In my first fight, funny enough, it was a bit of a ball ache, mate. So I had Joe Reese Teasdale. He's an amateur lad. He's meant to fight this weekend on Battle Arena. I was meant to fight him on my first fight, but he pulled out. He hurt his hand or something. So he pulled out the week before. I had about 4 different opponents on fight week. We ended up on this lad who was 5-2. He was 18 at the time. And I was 15, no fights. And Mush was like, yeah, just take it. I was like, all right, sweet. Like, I don't care. I'll fight him. I'll beat him. So, yeah, I went in there and subbed him in the first round, really. Like, that was like the high. That was the high one. That was like, I jumped on top of the cage and everything. But I had to stop myself doing this. So I saw every single fighter do this after. Or jumping on the cage, going like that and going, oh, I can't do that because I'm running out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can't be doing that. But yeah, it was funny, to be fair. But yeah, I probably should have went down to 66 then, though. I remember weighing in at 68 kilos, I think it was, for my first fight. Like, and so I decided to have 3 more 71s and then go down to 66. But I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, at 13 years old, I was probably 57 kg wet through.
I don't know. I was just a big set lad. I've always been a big set lad. Like, I got skinny around 14, 15. I got quite like skinny. Like, I didn't have any muscle, but I was like. Then I started doing a bit of S&C, and I kind of got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, basically. And then I decided, let's go down a weight class. I don't know why I thought that. That's probably why I'm 5'9" still. But yeah, and then this is where I am now. I'm just mini unit basically, mini fridge, whatever they call me. I can't walk down the street anymore without someone calling me fridge. So, like, I don't know, mate.
Had you done any jits comps?
I did.
Yeah.
Funny enough, like, I did some when I went to my new gym. Well, the gym when I was 10. We did some then. And, like, I remember I did 3 comps. I got absolutely smashed. Like, blew me out the water. Like, no, it might have been 4. But then I remember going to 1, and I kind of had, like, a mind switch on the way. I thought, no, I'm not losing this one. I was like, I can't lose. This was when I was about 14. This was before one of my first fights. Maybe just turned 15. I remember being like, I can't lose this. Like, I don't want to lose anymore. I kind of like I was accepting like losses. Like, because when I was younger, in the kickboxing comps, I knew I wasn't going to win. So I was there like, I don't care if I lose. I don't care if I lose. I don't care if I lose. You know what I mean? Like, one of them. But then I got to this comp and I was there like, I'm not losing anymore. Like, I had kind of a mental switch. Like, I don't want to lose anymore. Like, that was it. And I went in against some big lad. I used to do it 80 plus for some reason. I used to just go in at 80 plus because, you know, that's like my comp before I did it 70 kilos, like bang on. And then my next one.
80 plus, so you must have been doing adult division.
No, I was doing kids. There was one lad. Yeah, he was massive. Yeah, Callum Graspy, his name was. He's a real good jiu-jitsu player. Like, but I remember going in, he was massive. He was like 6 foot. I was there like, ooh, that's a big lad. Like, but I remember just walking him down with my hands up. And he told me after, he said, yeah, I shit myself, I'm not going to lie. I thought you were going to punch me. Yeah. I walked in with my hands up. And he went like this. I just shot double leg on him, spun him over, and then rear naked him. I was there like, I remember getting
fully committed to the psychology.
Yeah, I was there like, I'm going to put my hands up and just walk at him, like, because I'd been doing a load of, like, I never did that much jiu-jitsu before that, I don't think. I was doing it twice a week. But, like, I just thought, I was striking yesterday. Just put my hands up and go at him, like, let's see what happens. Go at him, and he just went, oh, it took him down and something.
That's like that story. Have you heard Eddie Bravo tell that story on Joe Rogan? Where I can't remember who it was, but he coached this guy, a UFC fighter at the time. This was years ago for this fight, and the guy that he was coaching, he'd just been out to Thailand, done a full camp in Thailand, so he'd committed to like all the
bands
gear,
and that. Yeah.
And he walked out with like the Thai music and the Thai drums, and like his opponent was like, I think his opponent might have been Eve Edwards. They said his opponent was like, fucking hell, like, he's going to have some good striking on him. And he said he came out and he pulled guard. I'm sure either pulled guard or Eve Edwards thought, I don't want to strike with him. So he took him down, and that's what I wanted all the time anyway.
Yeah, I just remember being like, I'm an MMA fighter now. I'm going to do my MMA fight like next year. I was like, just walking down my hands. Like, what's the worst that can happen? I'm not going to punch him. Like, I'm going to lose again. But yeah, from there, I was like, I'm not going to lose. And I never really lost since then. Like, I went on like, I remember doing the next one in like, there was a wrestling champ in it. My dad was telling me, oh, you got a wrestling champion division. I was like, okay, I'm going to take him down. When I took him down, I was like, I'm just going to take him down then. So when I did that, but I've actually lost once MMA, but it's the cadets. Okay. Right. Do you know so the first ever IMAF cadets, I was Team England for that. And it was a shit show, mate. Like, I went up to walk out 3 times and they brought me back 3 times. Like, I was there like, fucking hell, like this is a proper mental game. But there was no mental game in it because like, I'm not going to be punched in the face because there's no headshots. So I was just there like, well, what's the worst that can happen? Oh, you kicked me in the body a few times. You kicked me in the leg. Like, oh, wow. Like, really? Like, but like, I fought an Australian kid. I beat him 3 rounds. Went back. Sat down for 20 minutes. Oh, you're fighting again? Okay. I fought a fresh kid from Canada. His name's Ian Stobie. Like, and I remember going out and thinking, I'm fucked. I was gassed. Like, I was gassed. And he took me down. I just sat in guard. I was like, well, you can't punch me in the face. I just kept going, trying to guillotine. I was just trying to guillotine him every single time. I just kept down. His hand went up. I was like, oh, fucking hell. Like, and then they went, oh, wait.
So this was C class.
This was C class.
How old were you?
I was 15 still.
Yeah. So you'd already had your first one on Battle Arena?
I fought on, where did I fight? What's it called? The Gladiators promotion. It's not around no more. Ross Poynton show. But he was like, he really liked me. So like, I really respected that show because like, he really tried hard to get me the fight as well, even when they pulled out. But no, I'd had 2 fights since then.
Okay.
I fought B class on Ross's show, Gladiator. I fought on K Steel when they did the big fly DSA, but that was A class. I was 15 and I did an A class fight. And I remember I fought a big lad called Dan Foster. And I weighed in at 70 kilos the day before. I was like, oh, okay, sweet, lightweight fight. Go all the way to Sheffield from Worcester, which is like 2 hours. Go there, get in the cage, warm up. Announcing Dan Foster weighing in at 73 kilos. I remember turning around to my coaches going, huh? They went, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And I was like, did you know? And they were like, nah. I was there like, fuck it. He got in, mate. He was massive. Like, he was a kickboxing champ, like world kickboxing champ. And I thought, oh, this is my bread and butter. Like, so I'll go in there. I beat him up on the feet a bit. And I got a bit too cocky. So I kind of like put my hands down and tried to shoulder roll. Mate, he went, boom, hit me. Yeah, my head goes, bang. All I remember is he's coming back around. I'm on his back. I was there like, how the fuck have I got here? Like, so I took him down in the madness, like, got his back. And I remember thinking, oh, it's A-class now. Mate, I was punching him back of the head, ears, wherever I could punch him. I was punching him. And then he just lifted his head. And I thought, sweet, I'll take that. And I just subbed him from there. And then that's when we did the Rome thing. We went to Rome, all the way to Rome for it. And
for the IMAF.
Yeah, it was just a shit show, really. But, you know, live and we learn, don't we? And I remember, because I hadn't lost for years since then, probably about 2 years, and we had to get a train back, and it was about an hour. I cried the whole time. 1 hour. Did not stop crying the whole day. And then we went back the next day to go watch it. So we met Alex Andrews. My mum and dad sat by Alex Andrews' mum and dad. They became close. And I went there the next day. And I remember being there thinking, I don't want to fucking be here. I was like, just get me home. Like, I don't really want to be here. But, like, we went, we supported him. I think he got silver or something. Like, but, yeah, like, so that's my mindset on losing. I just hate it.
You took it very hard.
Hard, yeah. But then I literally told
definitely stayed with
I
you.
got another thing, like, I'm not losing this. I'm not losing again. And my mates just take the piss out of me for it, basically. Oh, yeah, cheers. And Ian Stobie started following me, like, last year, I think it was. I thought, you fucking bastard, man. I thought, follow him back, good lad. But he's fighting at middleweight now. So
I was going to ask, is he still fighting?
Yeah, he's at middleweight. He's a big lad. He was a big lad back then. Like,
so for that rematch, you'll be able to eat whatever you want.
We'll do it on like Bellator. I'll just steroid up or something. Like, we'll do it on some mad show. I'll steroid up, get up there. Like, but yeah, he's a nice lad though. I think he's really good, to be fair. But he's from Canada, so I don't know the level out.
You
there,
don't know
I'm
where
sure
he is in relation to getting to the UFC or PFL.
Yeah, I think he's having his first pro fight or something. I don't know, but it's kind of a bit banned up there, isn't it? That's something I was reading about. Like in certain places of Canada,
I know
it's banned.
Trudeau's mad.
Yeah.
That'll probably anger some people.
Who cares?
Some liberal people that love.
Who cares?
All the crazy stuff
I'm sure loads of Canadians watch. I think they'd have the same stats actually. But yeah. So 15 first fight. I had 2 fights. Then I had my third one when I just turned 16, basically in November. I fought on Ross Pointer's show again as well. So I did a good shift. My first year fighting, I did about 5 fights. And I decided to go down to featherweight. Yeah. And then that was taking 10 weeks of time to make weight. So I was like doing 2 or 1 a year, which wasn't good. But now I should be able to get next year like 3, 4 in at least, like hopefully.
So since that loss at IMAF Cadets, 15, 16 years old, have you lost at all since competitively?
No. I did the British Open twice. And I remember going the first time, I beat the first lad by pin. I beat the next lad 11-0. But like on the 10-0, they shut it. So it's a tech fall in it. Then I went and did it again. I went against a lad who I actually trained with, funny enough. Yeah. Matty. Do you know Polish Matty?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I call him Polish Matty because we got Matty Byford and we got Polish Matty. So I kind of like, I get mixed up. But I did against him. Yeah. That was a good match. I remember like I kept.
So you won the British Open?
Yeah, twice on wrestling. Yeah, but like I kept like taking his back because I was fighting the week after. This was this must have been like the week before I fought Oliver Johnson, which was my last fight of 2019. So I was like doing a wrestling comp the week before.
Yeah.
Like,
when you say the British Open, is in the JITS British
wrestling
Open or wrestling?
Yeah, I went into wrestling. Yeah. But I started wrestling around like 2017 when I went to UTC. I met Ranj in that shut down, and we went to Wolves. I used to go to Wolves like every Tuesday. My dad used to take me without fail. Go up on a Tuesday, wrestle for 3 hours, drive back, like constant. But like also like my dad did everything for me basically. Like he'd sit outside a Renegade for about 3 hours, sit in Costa until it shut, and then sit in the car until I come out. Like he'd do it all the time, and then
his support. I mean, it sounds incredible. It sounds like you couldn't have asked for more from him.
He was just like I said. He's accepting of whatever I want to do. Really, like if I wanted to say I'm going to play football now, he'd probably take me to every single training session. So it's just like it's one of them. But he used to pick me up from school, like break time. Oh, Shay's got to come out. Come get someone to come get me. I remember the first time I went out. it was when I was at UTC, and I went out at break time. I went to spot Jake Hadley. This was when I was young. Like I was big enough to spar him then. Now I'm a bit too big, but went to spar him, and I remember going. I got filled in. Like he filled me in, smashed me up. Like, and I went back and I went to English class, and my English teacher was like, "Oh, what's happened to you?" I just rocked back up with 2 black eyes. I said, "Oh, I just wanted to have a spar." So what do you mean? I was like, "Yeah, I went to Brum to go fight." And he was like, "Don't do that anymore." I said, "Yeah, all right." Next day I was back out. I was back training. There's pictures. Some of the lads have got pictures of me like in school uniform, dressing back up in school uniform, taking a picture of people with my tie on, my shirt on, and just being like, "Yeah, all right, lads." Then off I went back to school. Like it was crazy. Like they used to be mental. But like I didn't really pass any GCSEs because as soon as basically what happened was
your full commitment was.
It was full commitment, but there wasn't there to start with. Like my dad was like, "Why don't you go do an electrician's course just in case?" It was just what it started, and I said, "Yeah, whatever you want me to do, like I'll go do it." And I think it was like 2-3 weeks later, he sat there and he went, "Nah, if we're gonna do it, we gotta go all in, ain't we?" And I said, "Yeah, I think so." And he was like, "Yeah, sound." Like I've left school every day, training. No college, never went to college. I funny enough, one of the teachers come to me and was like, "Oh, Shay, you've not signed up for a college." I said, "Yeah, I'm not going to college. I'm going to fight." No, you can't do that. We're going to sign you up for a college. I said, "All right, then." They booked a meeting with a college, yeah. The next day I come and like, "Oh, how was the meeting?" I went, yeah, real good. I'm in. And they're like, "Oh, really?" I was like, "Yeah." I walked away. I was like, "Fuck off, like, fuck that, like, none of that." But like, I remember my maths teacher was the same. Like, I was shit at maths. Really, I was projected, like, I don't know what it is nowadays, but I was like the first year what I had like numbers. So I didn't have an A or a B. I had 1 to 10, 1 to 9. She said, "Oh, you're projecting a 1, which is like an F." And I said, "Yeah, it don't matter." She said, "What do you mean it don't matter?" I said, "I'm going to be a fighter." She said, "What if that fails?" I said, "It won't fail." She said, nah. And she took me to revision sessions at the start of the day. I just never did anything. So I was tired. I just got back from Wolverhampton at like 10 o'clock the night before. I'm like, So no, I'm not doing it. She's like, "All right, kick me out of the revision sessions." So I had to go kick me out because I just wasn't doing it. Yeah. I was like, I've just come home from training.
I love it. I think that's amazing. Basically, from 6 years old, you had two catalysts or 2 forces driving you to where you are today and beyond. Your love for fighting, basically, for martial arts, and your dad's support and commitment in supporting you, backing you 100% to do what you wanted to do, to do what you love to do. Yeah. I think that's beautiful.
I couldn't ask for a better dad, really. Like, he takes me to all the fights. Like, he come up to cage roar. He's done my weight cut. He's like weight cut specialist now. Leaves me in the bath for so long. Knows how to wrap me up. So like, it's just one of them. Like, he used to get me my fights as well at one point. Like, but like, he just went, "Just go all in, innit?" I said, "May as well, mightn't we?" Like, well, if it fails, it fails. He said, "You can always go back to college." I said, "Yeah, of course you can." Like, so I was like, "Let's just go do it."
That's what I always say to people. I don't know if you know my backstory. So I used to be a corporate lawyer, and I gave it up. I was going to give it up anyway because to me it was a meaningless existence. There was no inherent purpose in it for me, or I found as though there was no fulfillment and purpose in it. So I would have given it up anyway. But really, at the forefront of my mind, because I'd started really competing in JITs like the 6 months to the year prior, and I just thought, I love competing and training so much. I'm not going to be able to do that in 10 years' time. Like this, I can leave this now, and it will be difficult to come back to the level that I'm doing it at, because it was at a really good firm. It'd be difficult to get back into a firm, especially now that they can see I walked away from it previously. But I know I could do it in 10 years' time if I needed to. My mind's still going to be here, my brain, like my academic skills, my writing, all of that. In 10 years' time, I'm not going to be able to compete and be able to do ADCC trials one day and potentially be able to become a world champion. Like, if I'm going to do this,
you got to go all in.
I've got to do it.
You got to go all in as well. That's the problem with this sport. It's not like football. We kind of like, you can't train every single day. I can't go run around 10k. Well, I can because I've done it, but you can't run around boot a ball every day. But MMA, like, every single day. Even with boxing, you can't do that every single day. I can't go, like, as much as you can hit pads, hit mitts. You can't do it every day. But like for MMA, like every single day you got to be doing something. And even your rest day, it's like that's got to be. You've got to make sure your rest day is perfect. Basically, you can't just go out and just let's eat all this, and then next day I'm like, oh fucking hell, got to go train on all that now. Like it's an all-in sport, isn't it? MMA, like it's that's what.
It commands so much of you.
Yeah, like a lot. Like I was saying about on the pressure situation as well. I remember being like, I think I was about 12, 13. One of my coaches, like his name was John Lennigan. His name is John Lennigan. It was, but you're going to be UFC by 18. Like I had that sort of like pressure on me, but like as a kid, I was kind of a bit like, oh yeah, like I didn't really think it was achievable. Like I haven't achieved it yet, but like even the UFC for me, like at that age, I was there like that's mental, like that's where you're gonna be. But then like I say to my mum and dad all the time, like if you'd have told me at 13 you'd be training with Leon, like I was in the last camp with Leon sparring with him, but if you'd have been sparring with the lightweight champion of the world, I'd have gone, not a chance. Like a kid from Worcester, like no MMA, no one's come out of MMA from there, no one. Like sparring world in Cage Warriors, 1-0, one of the best prospects in Cage Warriors. Not to blow my own, that's what people say. I just listen to what people say.
Yeah, but you know it as well.
Kind of. Not many people make their pro debut on the main card and win. You know what I mean? But yeah, like it was just mental. Like people at school are like, mention me when you're famous. I'm just sat there like, lads, like I'm in the same situation as you. You could do this as well if you really wanted to. I remember being like there's a lads who are going to be footballers. Like, oh, I'm going to be in the Premier League. And I remember being sat there like, how many times a week do you train? Twice. No, you're not then. You're playing for the school football team. Like you're not going to be.
Your
like,
intention
this
is
the
out
problem,
of
like,
alignment with
how
you're living every day.
like I was kind of like, all my mates were footballers. Like they always wanted to be footballers. Like no like combat mates. My combat mates were like the lads at the gym. The 30, like 20 and 30. Like I was a 13, 14-year-old kid, like 15, like sat in school, like yeah, like the people I actually like, am mates are at the gym, like you know what I mean, like none of these kids. But I was more like a mature kid in school. Like kind of like I never got in really any trouble. I got in a bit at the end of the years because I just didn't give a shit, mate. It was just like I know what I want to do in life. This ain't gonna get me where I am. I don't want to be sat in a classroom. I want to go train. Like I was just ravenous to go train, really. Like as soon as I got home from school, eat my tea, back in the car, going up to Birmingham, going up to Wolverhampton to go train. It was like it was mental, mate. But yeah, if you wanted me to mention you when you're famous, when I'm famous, I suppose there it is. I'm regional famous, but you know what I mean. But yeah, it's just mental thinking about it. Like these kids now, like, I don't know where they play football. I'm not really mates with my high school mates with kids from primary school more, but like I don't know where they are now. They're not professional footballers. I know that for a fact, but it was just this work ethic, really. At the end of the day, like if they put the time in, they probably would have been where they were. But
like you said, well, it's they did what everyone said you were going to do.
Yeah.
When you're able to drink, you start going out.
Yeah.
Did you ever have like a phase like that when you turned 18, or like when you?
No. Funny enough, my first drink was last year in February. It was the first time I ever had an alcoholic
Hand on your heart,
drink.
that was the first time you had an alcoholic beverage.
Yeah.
That's really impressive.
Yeah. Because it was like, you kind of get to that point where I'm a bit like, it's bad, don't get me wrong, but like, if I'm just going out with my mates on a Saturday, like, I can have 1, 2, and then that's the end of that. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
moderation.
I kind of like...
But that's incredible, though. That was 20 years old. That was the first time.
My thing is, like, I don't really like fizzy drinks. Never liked Coke. Never drank Coke ever in my life. I hate it. Pepsi, all that. Like the only fizzy drinks I drink are like energy drinks. A Monster, 0 calorie. Is how much I'll go. So I drink like an alcoholic drink, and I'm there like, this tastes like shit, man. My mate's like, yeah, nice, isn't it? I'm there like, yeah, fucking, this is horrible. Like, so I don't really enjoy it. So like, I went to Newcastle and they come with me, and like they went out and drank. I went out an hour, didn't drink anything. I just went back to the hotel room. I was like, I'm going to bed. Like, get up in the morning. I got to drive home in the morning anyway. But I think I don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy drinking. It's more of a social thing, in it, which is probably like a bad thing to do, like a social drink. Like, it's not bad. I'm not saying it's bad, like for people, but like for me, it's a bit like if I don't enjoy it, like why am I doing it? Really, kind of. That's like I was saying, like if I didn't enjoy fighting, I wouldn't do it. And like, I don't know, why would I do it? Like,
and I do think, you know, not to pass judgment, but I do think there's something to be said for people that feel like they need to have a drink to have a good time socially.
Yeah. Well, like I don't really go out. Like I went to a nightclub about 3 times. Like the first time I ever went out was the first time I went to a nightclub, and I remember being like, "This is shit."
Yeah,
I know everyone in there.
Especially as well, if you go there, did you go there sober?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
When you see that sober, what is going on?
My problem is like, I go to Worcester nightclubs. Everyone knows me, so like it's just an earful all night.
Especially after people have had a drink. Man.
Yeah, I'm there like,
can't get rid of them.
Yeah, like, oh, you better not be drinking. I'm like, why are you trying to tell me what I can and can't do? I'm like, I'm not, but like, why are you telling me what I can and can't do? But I don't enjoy it. Like, you know, like you were saying, like when they've had a drink, like, oh, you should have done this in your last fight, should have done that. I'm like, yeah, cheers, lads. Thanks for that. Like, should have moved your leg. Yeah, fuck, I couldn't walk for a week and a half. I should have moved your leg. Yeah, fair play, like, but. You know,
it's a low frequency environment. Yeah. It's a low intelligence, low frequency environment. Just by virtue of the fact that everyone's plastic.
I don't enjoy it, mate. It's just it's not for me. Like, lock me in the gym, I'll be there all day. Lock me in a nightclub, I'm trying to get out of the life for me. But it's one of them, innit? Like, so you gotta experience it to know if you like it or not. Yeah. You know what I mean? I mean, that's probably a bad way to look at things. Like,
I think you do.
Some things you know. But you know what I mean? Like, yeah. Not drugs. Don't take drugs.
Yeah, I mean, like, I used to, especially as well, like the corporate culture is heavily
on drinking.
Yeah, and drugs as well, but especially around drinking. Like, going to a law firm for like an open day is just a booze up, basically.
Yeah.
So obviously, going through uni, studying law, and then going into the field that I did. You know, I came to like drinking and having a good time socially, or just having any kind of social event was synonymous with drinking. Yeah. So I like drinking. I actually like the taste of alcohol. I pushed through that point of this is horrible. Like, it becomes an acquired taste. And now, like, I love a whiskey. I love wine. And, like, I can be a bit of a snob with it. But because of the life I live now and the fact that knowing what life is like now when you're disciplined and dialed in and on top of your physical health and the mental acuity you get from it, and to me, the spiritual elevation I get from living like that, as much as I like the taste of alcohol and it's nice to feel a bit tipsy, I drink like 2-3 times a year.
Yeah.
And it's not a fight to keep it at 2-3 times a year. Yeah. And as much as I enjoy elements of it when I do drink, like I've got the British Open this weekend, the Nogi British Open. For me, that's the last comp of the year. In December, I'll go out a couple of times. Got a couple of mates fighting in boxing, and lots of the lads fighting in Covon Almighty in a couple of weeks. I'll probably have a whiskey here and there, and I'll enjoy that. But if it ever goes to the point where I have a few drinks, end up going to the club, it is just, it only takes a second for me to be reminded, I don't do this anymore. This is not for me. This is not an experience that's elevating my life or consciousness in any regard whatsoever.
Well, I've done it like 3 times, see. Like, the first time I was there, like, what the fuck am I doing here? Second time I was like, what the fuck am I doing here? And the third time I was there, like, the fuck am I doing here? And now it's just come to the fact, like, it ain't for me.
Rule of 3. I've tried it 3 times. Not enjoyed it.
Like, it just ain't for me. Like, for other people, but it's amazing. Like, some of my mates, they love it. Like, but I don't see. But then again, like, my mates will look at me and go, I don't see the enjoyment being punched in the head. I'm a bit like, you got a point, like, but you know what I mean. But each to their own, I suppose. Like, if you enjoy it, go do it. Like, don't bother me. Like, just don't waffle in my ear about what I was supposed to do. Don't do that. Don't do that. Like, I don't come to you asking about your job. This is my problem. I get it all the time. Like, I should have done this, should have done that. How's this? How's that? I don't come to you like. It like, I don't know, in the pub and go,
you should have laid these bricks.
Yeah, or even like, how's work? Like, what did you do today? What did you do? No one wants to hear about that when you're in a pub, like, really. Just come ask how I am. Go away, like, you know what I mean? But
that's the other side of the coin to having your work on display in the public domain. So it's a blessing and a curse.
The only guy in Worcester to do MMA. And like, I'm a very familiar face if you look at me. Like, you could spot me out in a crowd of 1,000 probably. Like, so whenever I walk through town, it's like
I was going to say, people, like, you get recognised.
4 or 5 people would be like, "Oh, all right, Shay. Like, Mrs. hates it." Like, in Primark, about three people will go, "All right, Shay." I'm like, "Oh, all right." Like, you know what I mean? But I enjoy it though.
I was going to say, how do you feel about it? Do you feel awkward about it, or do you enjoy it? Does it ever? Do you think it ever feeds your ego too much and you consciously have to bring yourself down? Or
no,
are you very level about
I think I'm just level about it. Like, I kind of know these people anyway. You know what I mean? Like, if they know me, I know them in some sort of sense. Yeah. So it's just like seeing, like, anyway, it's like you walking down the street seeing, like, a familiar face. All right. End of, go away. Like, you know what I mean? Well, not go away, but, like, just walk off. But I don't really get stopped for pictures. Like, it's one of them. I got stopped for one picture. And And that was in a nightclub, which was very weird. And I was there like, oh, okay, like, it's just odd. I'm on Tramp's dance floor getting a picture taken of me. Like, hi, mate. Dressed as Hulk Hogan as well. So, like, this is funny. But, yeah, like, that's how far it goes, I think. Like, but, like, everyone knows me. They don't need a picture of me. Like, so normally you get pictures with people because you're like, I've met them. Whereas, like, people in Worcester would be like, oh, yeah, I know his dad. That's kind of how people... But, like, that was my thing. I was kind of known anyway. My dad's like well known in Worcester. My mum used to work in a local shop, like in Tolladine. Like everyone knew her. Like she was the scary one. She was 4'11", but if someone was robbing, she's kicking them out. So it was kind of like that. And my dad's a window fitter, tradie. Like everyone knows him. So I was known anyway, kind of. So it was kind of normal to me. Like I walk in town with my dad, people know him. So I saw it. Or I walk in town with my mum, people see it, and I saw it. So it's just normal to me, kind of like. But for other people, like. It'd be weird, wouldn't it? Like, imagine walking down like your high street and being stopped like 4 or 5 times. You'd be like, what the fuck, like? But it was just normal to me, really. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I was going to ask you when we were talking about the fact that you lost whenever it was at the IMAFs. You haven't lost since then in any regard competitively. Do you? I don't want to word it like that because I feel like the answer to do you fear losing is, of course, yes.
Yeah.
But like. How much do you feel the pressure of staying undefeated? Do you think it's imperative? So obviously, it's not like logistically imperative to become world champion. Like you could lose 5 fights and have a resurgence and become UFC champ. But how much in your mind is it a fact of I can't lose?
I don't think it's a fact of I can't lose because everyone can lose. Like at the end of the day, I say to everyone like. Oh, you're going to win your next fight. That's what I get a lot of. Like, yeah, that's the goal. But don't forget, we're in 4-ounce gloves. Like, I could be fighting the worst person in the world. If I make one mistake and the shot comes, hits me, I'm gone. That's the end of that. So I don't fear it. I fear it more for like I said, the pressure situation. Like a lot of people want to see me win, but then at the end of the day, like I was speaking to it about someone. Like if I lost, like I lost. Like, what am I supposed to do about it? Like,
so you, like, in your mind, the walls aren't. Everything's not going to come crashing down.
Just of course, it's not. It's one loss at the end of the day. If I went on a 6-fight losing streak, like, yeah, then you're a bit like, oh, fucking hell, like something's going on
electrician's course.
Yeah, but like, I don't think about losing. Like, I remember being in that last fight, in like my leg was fucked, and I sat there and I was there like, fuck, I could lose this one. Like, I remember being sat on the stool and I was like. I was nodding my head at the coaches because this one, I've never sat on a stool in a fight. It's the first time I've ever sat on a stool in a fight, I think. But like Fabs was like, face whoever's outside the cage because only 2 can come in, can't they? I remember being sat there like nodding my head. They were talking, it blurred out. I'm nodding my head. I'm just seeing some random kid. I don't even know who this guy is. He's nodding back at me, but I'm not thinking. I'm just like, I could lose this one. Like if I go out here now, I just don't perform. Like I've lost it. But that's your mentality of like, I've got to get up. I've got to go in there. I'm just gonna do my best. Like. That's all I could do. You know what I mean? That's what my dad always says to me. My dad's like, just go do your best. He don't want me to lose, but he says if you lose, and I know you've shown everything you can do, I don't care. Like it is fear, and my fear as well is like going out there underperforming. Like if I went out there and just like couldn't get anything going, like got beat up on the feet, taken down, grappled, got back up, same again, same. I'd be like. I'm better than that. I'm way better than that. That's your problem. That's what I fear more is just underperforming. Like if I had my best ever night, just come up short, I'll be content. Maybe I'd be like, fucking hell, I should have won that. Like, but at the end of the day, like
you could sleep soundly, no?
Yeah, of course. If you gave it your all, that's all it is. But like I always say to myself, like I sit there in the back, about to go out. What's the worst that can happen? Get knocked out in front of my friends and family. Wow. I'm trying to do this to the other guy at the end of the day. Like, he's got to have that same thing. Yeah, this is the problem, innit? Someone's got to lose. Someone's got to win at the end of the day. It's just, that's the way it is. Unfortunately, in our sport, you can't just draw. Like, you can, but it's so, like, rare. It's so rare that it can't happen. So, but it's a sport we signed up for, innit? Like, I'm not scared of losing. Like, it would be fucking shit. Of course it'd be shit if I lost. But if I lost, I lost. Like, the world ain't going to end. The sun's going to come up the next morning. I mean, that's the end of that, innit? We carry on. Just knock on. The thing is, like, I've never lost, but like I've been around lads who have lost, which is good. It's kind of good because like when I see them back in the gym, all happy, like nothing, like you know what I mean, like that's the game, isn't it? Like that's the game. Like that's it at the end of the day, innit? Like, just pick ourselves back up and go back out. Like, anything else in the world, really, innit?
Mm. Yeah, especially being around like people at the top of the sport, like watching Leon have like 2 years where he's on top of the world, the champ, and then obviously he's at a point now where he's got to come back and rebuild from the Bilal loss. Like I imagine, like being around him, seeing him going through this, it helps you keep everything in perspective as well.
Yeah.
And even like Fabs, obviously,
that's
short.
Like I'm
short.
kind of close to Fabs because Fabs comes in court. Like he cornered me on that last one, didn't he? So like I look up to Fabs a lot. Like if I could have a career like him, like it's unbelievable. Even like Oban, I've been around him. Like I've seen the losses, but like funny enough, like that's how I met Oban from Trojan. So we used to, when I was 10, he was like 15, I think. He must have been 14, 15. I remember there's pictures of us at a seminar. I've got a gi on, he's got no gi on, so he couldn't afford the gi. So like that's where we started like knowing each other from and just kept in contact from there. Like, but yeah, seeing losses as well. Like you don't want to see it happen. You don't wish it upon anyone, of course, but like seeing them build themselves back up, get back in, be positive, like that's good for me. So I know if it ever did happen, the world ain't gonna end. I'll just turn up on Monday, get back in the gym, do what I can. You know what I mean? Like that's the end of that.
What was the transition like from amateur to pro? Was there any kind of it factor or boogeyman factor, like, oh, like this is happening now? I'm going pro. I'm with Cage Warriors. I'm Cage Warriors. Like everything's a bit different now. It's not, the steel mill.
I mean,
it's an arena. Like we're on television.
Yeah, I mean, like there was no difference for me because since I was 13, 14, I've been doing pro rounds, 5-minute rounds. I've never sparred 3-minute rounds. My Shep Marne fight was the only time I sparred 3-minute rounds. My whole career in amateur. Like I'm around pros. Like we don't get that luxury of going, hold on, we got to do an amateur round. Like that don't happen. So there was
sorry to interrupt, but I've just kind of thought of this. Like, you never really had a camp then as an amateur built around you?
No.
Did you? Yeah.
No.
Which is different to a lot of...
But the thing is...
Like, our gym's like predominantly amateur fighters.
Yeah.
When guys are getting ready for fights, it's tailored around them. It's 3-minute rounds.
Yeah, no. Nothing, like always 5 minutes. I might have done like, I'll do 3 rounds instead of 5 the last spar. So I'm doing 15 minutes. Well, I think I did that when I fought Tom. That was the first time I was like, right, I'm only going to spar 3 rounds because my fight's going to be 15 minutes long. But I wasn't even fighting a 5-minute round. So it's just a bit like, I don't know why I was doing it. But there was no... I think the biggest thing for me was like, I thought I was going to be first on. I'm a pro debut. I'll be on first. You know what I mean? Nothing crazy. No big hype. I remember being there, sat there one day. I'm already nervous for this fight because this kid had fucking... Did you see the comments? Fucking hell, when he had like 73 comments, people saying they're going to kill me. I was there like, oh, fucking hell. Like, so this is a bit different. 700 likes. I was like, fucking hell. I remember being sat there. I think I was driving home from SNC. I'm on the main card. I'm like, fucking hell. Like, so where am I on the main card? You're first on the main card? Thinking like, fuck. I remember going boxing and my coach was like, yeah, they say in WWE, this is the best place to be on. You're the opener. Yeah,
no, that's
I was there like, fucking hell, man. Jesus. I remember just being there then and being like, this is big now. Like, this is very big. Like, I thought, nice little cushy prelim spot. No one's going to care. Like, maybe he'll care in a few fights' time. But now, like, eyes were on me. Like, they were making posters of me and him. Like, it was crazy. Like, I was signing posters. I was there like, what the fuck's going on? Doing interviews. I was there like, fucking hell, this is crazy. Like, but, I mean, you just got to be ready for it, ain't you? I mean, it didn't knock me back, really. I was a bit like...
Seems to have handled it incredibly
well. That's what you can do. I mean, I turned up on the Thursday, had all these interviews, crazy, signed posters, and I was just there like, I'm going for a fight at the end of the day. Everything that comes. I mean, I better be on the main card next time. That's what I'm saying. you can't give me that and then take it away from me. But yeah, it was just... But like, see, like I see some lads, like, they take their first pro fights on golden ticket, wherever, and they just fight like some guy who's going to come in and ball over. Like, imagine like training for 8 weeks, and I know when I hit this guy, he's going down. Like, I thought Germany's number one kid. He had twice the fights with me, twice the wins with me. Like, I remember just being like, this is where I got to be. Like, I've got to beat this kid to be able to go anywhere. If I can't beat this kid,
that's the challenge you want.
I don't understand it. Like, as soon as we got the name, I was like, yeah. I was like, he coming down from welterweight. I was just there like, I'm probably bigger anyway, so it's just a bit like it don't really bother me. But I got to if I can't beat this kid, how am I going to beat George Hardwick? How am I going to beat guys in UFC? How am I going to beat Islam? Like it's never going to happen, is it? If I can't beat these guys, so it's kind of like we've got to take the toughest challenges now, or else I was doing that amateur anyway.
Yeah.
Like whenever I got a name, it was straight away, straight away. Like I think. What? So my 4-0 fight, I fought 4-0 guy. I fought 5-0 guy. Fought Tom 5-0. Then I fought David Comar 13-1, 12-1 he was, and then I fought Christian Soda, and he was 4-2 at the time. But if you look at him now, like he's fucking flying, mate. Like it's crazy. And then Shep Mane, I mean, he was just crazy, weren't he? Really, but I respect him. Like I was surprised he took the fight. We were matched a few times, see, but it's a good fight as well. I mean, I was up with 70 again, but. One of them, innit? Like you just got to fight the best guys. If you don't fight the best guys, what are you doing it for? Like this is the problem. Like people say amateur, like just fight the best guys. It's the same that applies at pro. Just fight the best guys at the end of the day, like because where I've come from, like it's just to be the best, you got to beat the best. So why not fight the best? You know what I mean? Like it's crazy.
Yeah. So there's never been an opponent or a fight that you've struggled to get motivated for. Do you think you always need to feel as though you're fighting the best person you possibly could at the stage of your career you're at in order to stay motivated, or are you someone that's just disciplined and
I'm just disciplined,
train the same way and be dialed in mentally the same way regardless?
Yeah, but regardless, I mean, like really, like if I slack, I'm gonna have brain cells taken away from me. So at the end of the day,
that's enough of a motivation.
That's enough of a motivation, isn't it? Like, but. Why would I not want to get motivated for it? Like everyone's paying money out their own pockets to come see me have a fight. Why would I then like slack? Need to run today. I'm not going to do it. I don't need to do it. Like that. Really, the Shep Mane fight. I had a lot of people around me being like, "You've got to smash this kid. Like you 10 times better than him." But like I remember sitting there thinking, everyone's saying that, but all it takes is one. At the end of the day, so why would I not get myself up, do 3 sessions, do 2 sessions, do 3 sessions, and go? Like it's just how it's got to be, isn't it? Like if I'm not getting up and motivating myself, it's not. I shouldn't need someone else to motivate me to get up and train. Like just because I'm scared of the guy at the end of the 8 weeks, 10 weeks, whatever it is, why would that need to fuel me to get up? I should want to get up anyway and want to beat this guy the best I can. You know what I mean?
Not to show how the sausage was made, so to speak. But when it came time for you, your team, your coaches to say, this is it, we're going to go pro, were Cage Warriors actively already calling and saying, oh, like we want to sign you? Or was it a case of you guys presenting yourselves to Cage Warriors?
Well, I was kind of like signing the year before. I was meant to fight Aaron Givens, and then we were looking at going. And I think we kind of like put a thing out there like, would you sign? They said, yeah. But because of all the weight situation, 66, I was there like, fucking hell. I can't just go straight in at pro at 70. When I ain't fought 70 since I was 15. So I was kind of like, let's get a few more amateurs under. And at the end of the day, I could have went pro last year. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think it would have been the best thing to do. Like, I'd have had, 7 fights? And I don't think... Like, I got 9 in the end. I wanted 10. Like, 10 is the magic number, like, you know what I mean? But I had 9. We fought Mane, and it was just a bit like... All the coaches sat around like, well, why do we need 10? Why do we need another bout? We don't need it. Let's just go pro. But like
10th one at pro.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah.
call it your first
but
one,
like the problem was,
what's the difference?
Even when I took that Shep Mane fight, people were like, "Why are you not going pro?" I got to go on ticket, and people were like, "You actually going pro after this one?" I said, "Yeah, I swear to God." Because I remember fighting.
Well, I remember when you fought Tom and you won the bout. Canadian Steve said to you, "Are you going to go pro?"
Yeah.
In the post-fight interview.
That's what I mean. Like,
you're like, stop rushing me.
Yeah, for about 4 or 5 fights, it was like, "You going pro after this one? You going pro after this?" Even like when I fought in FCC, the next fight offer I got from was pro fight. I was there like, "Hold on a minute, like, I'm not going yet." Like, but I've had that a lot. Like since I turned 18, it was pro. I remember being in lockdown, and Jai was like, "Do you want to fight in Cage Warriors?" I was like, "Jai, I'm 16. I can't." I was like, "I legally can't. Like I can't." And he was like, "Oh yeah," and walked off. Like, but yeah, like I've always had that pressure to be pro. Like, I probably could have gone pro after the Tom fight, but what would it have done for me?
Yeah,
like I was a kid at the end of the day, still kind of like it wouldn't have done much. So.
You've got a bit more experience underneath you.
Where I've gone pro now is the best place to have gone pro, really. Like, the best
You've been able
time.
to actively seek out to make your pro debut on Cage Warriors, which I
yeah.
think was like a big statement. But when I saw Cage Warriors had signed you, I was like, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah,
And as
yeah.
well, it was like, oh, yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Straight to Cage Warriors.
Yeah. And it shows, like, look who they gave me in the first fight. Like, it weren't like some guy they
And
knew
where
I was
they
going
gave
to
you on
beat.
the cards.
It was literally like this was a 50-50 matchup. It was like whoever wins, we're gonna push through. Like, you know what I mean? But I'm glad in the end they did sign Mark. Like, if he didn't get signed off that, I'd have been like, fucking hell, like they don't think much of me, right? You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? But yeah, I'm glad he got. But that's like one of them. Like, I spoke to about my coach and my dad as well. Like, remember Paul Hughes in Vucenic? I reckon that's going to be one of them. Like, we're going to fight. We'll fight now. I won. But it's going to come again down the line. I kind of know in the back of my head, if he keeps winning, we're going to have to go again. Like, you know what I mean? So, but I'll be happy to fight him again down the line, like, for a bout, hopefully. I think that's where it'll go. I think Mark will beat a lot of lightweights in Cage Warriors, which is good. But that just shows my level. Like, I was able to go out there, get it done. I mean, I only won on 2 scores. I think that's one of the rounds I've dropped, apparently. I dropped one against Christian Soda, but I don't know. I felt like I won that round. But then I look back at this one.
Did they just give you the first round against Tom?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, I think so. They never really read them out, but I kind of like...
That's it. Yeah, an amateur, they never go
No,
round,
but I was kind of a bit like... It was 50-50 in the stand-up, but then I kind of took him down, control, got my strikes off. So, but I feel like in amateur, they kind of score that better. You know what I mean? Like, if I can take you down and keep you down, they kind of score that more. But I think that was my one legitimate drop of a round, that last fight. But I watched it back and I was there like, I controlled him for like half the round. He just hit me with a few shots, like, but you know, it's damaged now, isn't it? Like, kills my game off a bit. I'm going to start striking more.
Who's next?
Whoever.
Yeah.
It don't bother me.
No particular person that you want or think they could give you?
Couldn't care less.
Yeah.
I want someone on the winning record who's going to get me towards the bout. That's it.
Yeah. Like, so that's like the kind of imminent goal, right? To get to that Cage Warriors bout.
Well, it's like, I think I heard Teddy Stringer speak about it, funny enough. It was like, you got to set little goals for the big goal. Like, my main goal is to be the greatest of all time. Like, the bouts come with that at the end of the day. Like, a lot of people say, I want to be UFC champ. I just want to be the greatest of all time. If I'm going to be the greatest of all time, the bouts are just going to come with that.
When did that goal solidify in your mind?
Oh, I must have been about 13, 14.
Yeah.
Like, all I want to do, I always want to be the best. Like, I'm kind of a competitive kid. I'm not really, like, if you saw me walking down the street, I'm a bit shy. But if someone said, let's race, I got to win. And if I don't win, I'll say, let's race again until I do win. I'm kind of one of them. Even with Paul, I'm shit at Paul. Like, but I will play until I win. But that's like the mentality I was kind of built up on. Like, if you ain't the best, what's the point in doing it, really? Like, it's just, that's what you got to be striving for, ain't you?
Was there something like innate in you at like 13 years old that made you think, I'm destined for this? Do you believe in anything such as destiny or a higher power directing it? Or is it you?
I think it's all you. It's just you willing, isn't it? Like, yeah, like, I'm not a religious guy, see, but like, I did used to pray to God before a fight. I think I prayed to God before a Tom fight because I was there like, shit, don't let me get knocked out, man. But like, it's just, if there is a God, then yeah, there might be destined. Don't get me wrong, but like, if I sit on my ass all day,
oh yeah,
God ain't gonna destine me to do that at the end of the day. Like, so I've got to get up and go do it myself.
Even if you believe like in determinism, destiny in the most ironclad way, like.
If you're not doing it,
then sit on your ass and expect results that are
never going to
completely out of alignment with that.
It's never going to happen, is it? It's never going to happen. So I believe in, like, if you ain't getting up and putting in the work, you're never going anywhere in life at the end of the day. Like, even with a normal job, if I don't get up and go, I don't know, go scan the food, I'm not going to earn no money. I'm going to get nowhere in life. You know what I mean? So I think if there is a God, fair enough, there probably is a bit of destiny. But if you're going to sit on your ass all day, you ain't going to get nowhere in life. That's the end of that, isn't it? Really?
I asked Wes the same question, and he said, I believe in hard work. That's what I believe in, hard work. And it's true. And I said, look, whether you believe in God or not, no matter what powers you feel as though are at work in the universe, at the end of the day, like I don't know how anybody can like look at other people around them, life in general, and not see the clear correlation between you working towards something and you getting it.
Yeah.
Like, you don't get better at something by not doing
it.
You don't achieve something by running in the other direction from where it is.
I don't know, but yeah, I think if you ain't going to get up and go do the work, you ain't going to get anywhere. That's the problem with it. But yeah, going back to it, I think it was like 13. I'm just sat there. I was there like, I've got to be the best. I've got to be the best, and the bouts will come with it. So like short term, a cage warrior bout would be amazing. Don't get me wrong, but the UFC is the main goal in the minute.
So you're not what's what I'm looking for? It's not a case of I don't want to go to the UFC until I've got the cage warriors bout. No. If they called tomorrow, well, maybe not.
It's like an amateur bout, isn't it? Well, it's not. It's not. Don't get me wrong. Like it's a very good bout, but
in your mind, relative to your goals,
it's just like it's just like a I don't know what to call it. Just like a prize on the way up, kind of like here you go, well done, Shay.
It's a check.
It's about like it's about for your good doings. Now you got to go do all of this. Like if I don't get it, I don't get it. It's just one of them, innit? Like just. I don't care. Like my goal is to be the best ever. Like no matter how that comes, a bout's not gonna like. If I don't get a cage warriors bout, it's not gonna be like you were never the best.
Yeah,
you know. What
once
I mean?
you're UFC champion, no one's gonna care whether you.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Like, it's crazy. Like I it's one of them, innit? Like that's my goal, to be the best of all time. That's number one. The bouts will come with that if they want to come. That's where they'll come. So,
talk to me about the development of your style and your skill set. Obviously, fair to say you're more of a grappler, right?
Yeah,
more of a grappling heavy style, and that's kind of been illustrated from the start. You said like kickboxing, that's obviously where you started, but you didn't get on with it as much maybe as when you started incorporating grappling in with it. Like, where's the emphasis at right now with your training? Is it to obviously make sure your striking is good enough to strike with these guys, but really the focus is on positioning yourself as a dominant wrestler and grappler relative to your peers? Or are you really looking to round out your game a bit more?
Just round out, mixed martial artist.
You'd like to be at the point where you can strike with the best.
Yeah. But my thing is, like,
you've got knockouts on your record, right?
I got one TKO. Yeah, that's it. I got no knockouts. I got knocked down, one knockdown and one TKO. That's it. But my knockdown come from a teep. And I thought I broke my toe after it. And the TKO was Shekmane. And I think the Shekmane one, I mean, like, the first sequence, I smashed him every single time. And I went down there. I got back up and missed him every single time. Then the ref jumped in. And I was there like, probably should have been stopped the one before, but fair enough. But my striking is good. Like, I said...
Well, that's the point I was making with
I said earlier...
I've watched you strike. Like, your striking's good.
I said earlier, like, it feels like when I get in there, I shit the bed a bit. I'm a bit like, oh, fucking hell. Like, but I'm one of them, like... I feel like I've got a bit of an imposter syndrome. Like, people sound really, really good. I never believe it. Never in my life I've believed it. Like, people were like, oh, you're really good. Like, you could be really, really good. And I was like, oh, yeah.
Just in relative... In regards to striking or...
Everything.
Just fighting in
mixed martial arts and everything. Yeah. Even when I take a wrestling class at Corfit, like, every Tuesday. And I remember when Henry come to me to I was just sat there like, I don't think I'm good enough to do it. Like, I've never... But
then that's out of alignment with... that.
It's mental, mate.
Setting that goal at 13 years old.
I
Do you
feel
think that's like in the back, a part of your brain telling yourself, I'm putting you under this tension of humility to ensure you keep pushing towards what we've set.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know, like, I never believed the hype. Like, a lot of lads get to Cage Warriors, believe the hype, then get knocked down. You don't really see them again. I've never believed the hype. Like, someone says, I'm really, really good. I'm like, okay, yeah, thanks. But I don't believe it. Like, I feel like every single fight, I've had 10 fights. I come out and I'm like, that was shit. Every single time. Like, no matter what. Like, I can have the Thomas Stone performance. I remember coming out and being like, when I settled, I was like, that was shit. Like, that was one of the, like, I was just like, that was so shit. Like, I should have done so much more there. Like, I controlled him for 5 rounds at the end of the day. And I remember being sat there and, like, the coach was like, yeah, amazing. I should have finished him. But that's, like, my mindset. It's kind of like...
But that's what drives you to be better and better.
Yeah,
that's a champion's mindset.
But I've got that kind of, like, imposter syndrome where it's just like, I'm not really that good, though, am I? Like, I kind of always think that. But I think that's what, like you were saying, like, that gets me to train. I've got to be better. But, yeah, at the point, like, my striking is good. But, I don't know, like, I spar pro boxers. I get on real well against them. Like, I can outbox them. But then it just feels like when it comes to when I've got to do everything at once, I just look across the cage and think, I could just take you down.
Yeah, that's it. When you know, like, your wrestling is so good, it's like, why would I make this more difficult than it is?
Yeah. I'm just like, just go in and take you down. Like, I could I say that to the lads at amateur now. So just go and take them down. So you can take the least amount of damage at amateur. You can take all the damage you want at pro. So I don't want to be fucking walking out fights, not being able to walk at amateur, cuts, and that. It's just being like, oh, fuck me, I've got to go into a pro career now. You know what I mean?
You
Like
accumulate that over the course of your
that's
career.
what I mean. Like fucking, that's the most damage I've took is in that last one. And really, like, I didn't really take that much damage. Like I got caught with about. I said 4 this morning to my dad. Funny enough, we were joking about it, but I said I took 4 clean shots, and they were the 4 clean shots in the start of the 3rd round. The 2 where I saw the roof, and the 2 what come back at me. But like, I'm just kind of like, we've rounded it out. Whereas like, I train with Henry, and Henry's with like all these great strikers like Leon, and he goes to me, he's like, you're never going to strike like them because you're not built like them. Like Leon's 6'2", got all the range in the world, and everyone. He's like, you're at lightweight. You're 5'9". Everyone's gonna be taller. You just gotta get dirty. Sometimes you gotta get in there and just get dirty. Like you're gonna take shots. I remember being in the back, and he was like, "If you come out and your forehead's sore, you've done an all right job. Like you've done an all right job there. Like, but I got the eye, but fucking that was already cut anyway. But it's one of them. But yeah, I feel like just being like a great mixed martial artist is where I'm trying to go. Like I know my wrestling's good, I know my grappling's good, but like it could be better. I know my striking's good, but it could be better. You know what I mean? Like that's. I think even when I retire, I'll be sat there and being like, I could have been better than that. But that's my mindset.
But that's what's going to have enabled you to do everything that you do.
Yeah.
Like those that are like happy and content with what they've done.
I don't know. Like I don't know.
This is the curse of being a champion. I think. Do you know Alex Hormozy?
No.
He's like a kind of like a business guru. Filthy Rich does loads of mindset stuff. Like very high performer, not an athlete, but a very high performer. And he says, like, people are looking for what champions have got. They're trying to find the secret ingredient of what a champion's got. It's not something they've got, it's something they haven't. It's called an off switch. And that's what enables, like, they're broken. Like, the normal average human being does a good, hard day's graft, and they go home, have the dinner, and they're like, okay, yeah, that was a good day. I worked hard.
Yeah.
You know, hug your kids, kiss your missus, watch a bit of Netflix, go to bed. Yeah, nice.
Same thing in the morning. Yeah.
Like, that's not be wanting to be an exceptional. Setting an exceptional goal and then achieving that comes with then doing all the exceptional things along the way. Like you can't have a normal life and then expect to get an exceptional result. No, so it's the curse of being a champion.
That's the problem. Yeah. And I've got that problem like every day.
Like, it's one that you've happily got.
Yeah, I've only to be fair, mate. I've only just started having a rest day like since last year. Just wouldn't have a rest day. Just run. I'll get up and run 10k on that day, or hit some pads, or hit the bag. Like
so, you have one day now where you do nothing.
I kind of not do nothing, but it's just active. Like I'll go on a walk, maybe get in the sauna, do some stretches. Kind of, that's it. Like that's all I do. But I feel like that's just like really good for me because I was getting to a point where the body was just breaking down, like injuries everywhere.
I was going to ask you. Like you've been training hard from 10 years old. I was going to ask you, is there, and you've been doing it for the love of it the whole time. Has there ever been a point where you've thought or felt, I'm a bit tired. I feel like I need a break.
All the time.
Yeah.
all the time, mate. All the time. Like I broke my wrist playing rugby, like I said, and like it was just I should have had some time off. Like I was in the gym next day, got the cast on. I was on my right wrist. I was just jabbing, all jab, all low kicks, like that. That was it. Like I had no time off. The only time I had time off is when I had to go get checked up on a Tuesday. Then I'll be back in the gym anyway. Like after that, it was just. But yeah, like I get up some days and I'm there like, oh, like in the minute my back's a bit fucked. I'm like getting up. I'm thinking, I could have a day off here. Like, do have a day off. Like, but I never do. Like it's just, I feel like I'm like.
When you're chasing something, stagnant time's wasted time.
Yeah. That's the problem. And also, like, I don't really go to work. I go with my dad every now and again. Like, I should be going to do... If I was working a normal job and I had a bad back, I'd go do the job. So I feel like, just get up and go do it. Like, but, like, I'll go drill. I just won't spar. Like, I don't need to spar. So I'll just drill, sit out the rounds, and go home. Like, it's one of them, innit? Like, you can still train with injuries. You just don't have to train as hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's fluctuations, isn't it? Like how you're training and what you're doing in your training sessions is different in camp as opposed to out of camp.
Yeah.
So you'll have, most people have more longer runs out of camp to build that aerobic base. They'll have more sprint sessions, peaking the heart rate more in camp. So even though like you're still working around the clock 24/7, it's different kinds of work.
Yeah.
But yeah, like talk about this. Take me through like your average week of training, Monday to Sunday.
So normally Monday, I'm wrestling. We wrestle in the morning, do the rounds, hour and a half, 2 hours.
Drilling and then
Specific
wrestling, like kind of like wrestling to scrimmage.
Wall wrestling, it'll be situations normally. Yeah. And then on a Monday night, I'll be real, mate. Like, we don't have anything set at the gyms.
You don't have a set.
We don't have a set. Like here, I'm guessing like you're training in the morning. You know what you're doing on the night. Kind of with me, it's like I make my own. Everyone's their own manager, really. Everyone's their own coach at Renegade. We've got no head coach. Like I think everyone knows that. No one has a head coach at Renegade. Your own head coach. Like if you feel like shit, you got to deal with that. Like, right, we don't do this today. We're going to do that instead. So like I do normally in camp, an all day in camp would be wrestling in the morning. I'll run in the midday. Then I'll do box on the night. Tuesday I'll grapple in the morning.
Just drilling or sparring?
Pads, yeah. And then Tuesday morning I'll grapple, jiu-jitsu, do rounds as well. Then I'll be up at Hemras doing my pads, taking the classes. Wednesday's a sparring day. And then I do S&C on the night normally. That was my normal in my last. I'm going off my last camp. Then then I'd do my S&C. Thursday grapple in the morning. Then I will run midday. Then I'm gonna go do pads boxing on the night. Then a Friday it's S&C in the morning. And then pads on the night, just some striking, whatever it is. Saturday's a spar in the morning, and then red zones on the night. That was my last camp. That's what I do. And then Sunday's just completely off.
Yeah.
So not massive. Like I'm not trying to kill myself in camp. You
still
I
mean that's a full
on
schedule.
Yeah.
Full on schedule. Like after 6 days of that, you need.
But I'm like used to doing all that. In between, I'm doing a 10K run. I'm doing an hour run. That's what I was used to going to 66. So like when I've started going to 70, when I come to 70,
that's a lot of work. Like you talk about like your Monday, you're doing like wall wrestling, wall positionals. Anybody that does that knows how taxing it is. And doing that and then doing your pads in the evening would be a full day. And then you're running 10K like midday as well.
Normally like an hour and 15, just a nice steady pace. Yeah. Like, I think it's a yellow zone run or something like we do. And then
like a zone 2.
Yeah. And then that's normally the runs twice a week. And then we do our red zones. But I normally do like a red zone as well. Well, a conditioning session in the S&Cs.
Yeah.
At the end. So either on the bike or the Versa Climber or the air treadmill. Like we can't do that. Like I don't know, like 10 seconds on, 50 seconds off. Just max efforts they're called, really. Yeah.
How much do you feel the S&C makes a difference?
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot. Makes it easier for your cut. Makes it easier when you're in there. Like I never really did like conditioning. Like I said, like I'd run and I'd do weights, but I wouldn't mix it. Like, I do like plyometrics now and all sorts. Like kind of thing that helps.
No, do you track work?
Yeah.
Rowers, skiers, and everything. I'm guessing.
Yeah. Like it's just 100 times better. For me now, because I kind of had to put in a bit of muscle to come up to 70, so I was trying to keep it off just to make 66. So now I feel like I'm like the actual S&C is building me into my body.
Yeah, you can really build yourself as an athlete.
Yeah.
I think everyone's waking up to it now. I think for the longest time, MMA fighters and jits guys, grapplers, like we didn't consider ourselves athletes.
No.
Like, you fought MMA or you compete jits.
Yeah.
It's like, no, it's no different to other
You're
sports.
an athlete.
Like imagine a footballer not doing their S&C. Like imagine any other athlete, no matter what sport it is, not doing their S&C. They'll be like, well, you're not taking it seriously.
No, that's the problem, isn't it?
Yeah. Just because of the age-old martial arts kind of saying of, oh, we use technique.
Yeah.
Technique will
like the
overcome
jiu-jitsu
all.
thing.
When you use, like against somebody with no technique, like you're probably just going to be able to beat them using technique in a very slow and weak way. But anybody that's skilled, and anybody that's even if they're not skilled, even if they're just athletic as fuck, like you've got to apply good technique with power, with precision, with speed, strength, all of it.
Well, you see it a lot, don't you? Like a lot of athletes have just come into our sports and do well because they're athletic.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like they just get it. Like.
You obviously mentioned a few names in the lightweight division in the UFC that are at the top of the sport at the moment. Like you've got a champion like Islam Makhachev. I don't want to say like how do you see your wrestling matching up against him because obviously like there's still a progression. You're not like literally knocking on the door of a title shot yet. But like how do you see like your style of wrestling, let's say, matching up against theirs? Like how do you get to the point, because obviously we talked about rounding out your game, you want to be able to strike with the best of them as well. But I'm guessing you also want to be able to grapple with the best of them.
Yeah.
Obviously, Leon's shown how well it can be done. And I'm guessing that gives you a lot of confidence. Like, what is it like? How have us Brits got to the point now where we're able to wrestle with Dagestanis and Americans? Is it a style thing? Is it just like...
I think it's more of like the lads now, like they've been over, they fought these Americans. Like I've been to Alpha Male twice, Team Alpha Male.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've trained over there twice. And I remember the first time we went, I remember wrestling thinking, fucking hell, like, they ain't all that. You know what I mean? Like, the way they're bigged up, it's like, fucking hell, they're just going to go in there, take you down. I was, like, out wrestling them. And we went back this last time. I never got to down once. It was just like, oh, well, that shows it now. Like, there's no, like, oh, the Americans, all they can do is wrestle. Like, they can do it all now, but, like, it's not up there. But I think the lads fighting the Americans, coming back and being like, look, they're not all that. We just need to do this, do that. And all the lads bringing down the information. It's just come to us and being like, we don't really need to be elite wrestlers. You just need to be elite defensive wrestlers. But I like to say it in my classes, like, if you can defend wrestling, you can attack wrestling all day. So what I like to do is, like, I like defending more to feel like the positions, so that when I now get to these positions, I know not what to do. You know what I mean? Like, I know I can defend it here. Yeah, I know I can defend it here quite easily. So I'm going to try to do it a different way to how they've just attacked me. You know what I mean? But like on the Islam thing, like when I was with Mush, we kind of like, I used to watch a lot of Khabib. Like I based my whole game around Khabib basically. Like if you watch my fights, I'm going for trips, outside trips. I don't really go double leg when you're over really. We did that against Tom because we knew he was a back foot fighter. So it was like, we just got to put it on him and take him down. So it was kind of like blast double, put him on the cage, pick him up and drop him. That was it. But even from there, I was still trying to get my trips and stuff. So I kind of based my game around them, kind of. So I see where they excel. Even that last fight, like I was watching Islam and Poirier, like nearly every single day. Just from where he like starts, he feints, shoots in, comes up, goes high crotch, and trips him out. That was like the first sequence he did off the strikes, and I was like, oh, I can get that. I know I can get that. And I got there and never got it. So, you know, but but like, yeah, I think
as good as they are, like, there's no like magic to it, right? They're obviously really fucking strong, powerful, well conditioned, athletic, and they've got their systems. They drill, they drill. It's precise, and like, what's stopping people in this country doing it?
Yeah, but also
well,
the thing is, like, how I'm saying
switched on.
Yeah, how I'm saying about the Americans as well. Like at the time, it was like they're gonna out wrestle us. I feel like by the time I get there, it's gonna be the same thing with the Dagestanis. Like we've all seen how they wrestle, and we've all just found out what it is. So we know the solution now. Kind of like, you know, like the Americans are gonna blast double, single leg, and that's probably around that, like suplex maybe a few times. But the Dagestanis are so good because they can use the cage well.
It's wrestling and it's because it's the sambo style of wrestling, isn't it? So it's not just wrestling. Really. No, it's judo.
A lot of like foot trips, foot sweeps. You don't really ever see them doing just a blast double, pick them out and slam them. Like you saw Khabib doing it against McGregor, but I think that was just more of like, I want to slam you and I want to beat you up basically. But if you see him against like Poirier, he was going single leg and he was tripping the foot. Yeah. Even Islam like tripping the foot, outside trips, inside trips, kind of all like that. And then the lifts. But like the lifts are quite easy when you're like strong as shit and then you just get on someone, they can't move off. But then you got to think of it like, they're going to be really strong, don't get me wrong. But like, if I can just hold this for like 3 minutes of the round, he's not going to keep that strength the whole way through unless they're on a bit of the special juice. That's like kind of it, like, you know what I mean? But like, this is the problem with like fighting. Like, oh, he's really strong. Yeah, he's going to be strong for a round. But then don't forget, if you're just going to sit there and let him squeeze you, his arm's going to blow out. Like, that's what I kind of had in my last fight. When I had the choke on, I was squeezing and thinking, fucking hell, I've got about 3 minutes left here. And I let go. So I don't want to squeeze him, not get it, and think, oh, I've lost all my wrestling now. My arms are gone. I can't strike. I've got no power left in my arms. So it's kind of like, I feel like if we figure out the defensive side, we'll be all right. But it's figuring it out. That's the problem.
Well, excuse me. On that note, give me 3 tips for somebody wanting to get better at wrestling.
Turn up, for one. A lot of discipline. I mean, like, I couldn't wrestle for shit at the start, but like I just kept turning up, getting taken down. You kind of start getting it in.
So you don't feel like you had a natural
Nah.
affinity to it,
Nah,
or a
nah,
natural
nah.
knack for it?
Nah, of course. No one's got. You might have a natural knack for something just because you're athletic. You know what I mean? Like if you're genetically like made to be an athlete, you're gonna be all right at something. But you've got to then figure out like the technique, how to turn someone. Like I think coming from jiu-jitsu to wrestling, you'll be all right because you kind of know how the body moves and stuff. So I was kind of all right that way. But it was like I was wrestling against blokes, so then I had to be like right. Coming into it, like my S&C. I think if you're a strong lad, you're athletic, you got a good cardio, you'll do decent. And then just drilling. Third one, just drilling. Like I like to, I take the kids class, and they probably hate me for it, but like I think we've gone over single double leg for about 2 years. Like maybe we'll mix in a few things every other week, but like I just tell them like if you're good at a single and a double leg, in like say I want to do MMA, so if you're good at a single leg and a double leg in amateur MMA at the minute, mate, you're sweet. You know that's your bread and butter. You'll be all right. Like so, I think don't make it too complex. Like you know, like the kids are like, "Can we do suplexes?" It's like, no, we can't do suplexes. I can't even do a suplex. So like, no, we're not doing suplexes. But just the basics. I think if you drill down the basics, you'll be fine. Like,
it's repetition.
Yeah,
No secrets to it.
Nah, there's just being. The main thing is being disciplined. And if I'm not turning up to my wrestling class, I can't think, I'm going to out-wrestle everyone. I'm not going to be wrestled. It's not going to happen, is it? Like, just turn up, get the reps in, and then go home, like, end off.
Give me 3 tips for young fighters. We're talking fighters that are younger than 16, they haven't started fighting, full-on amateur MMA yet, that want to get where you are and beyond to where you want to go.
Well, my main thing...
They can be training tips, they can be mental tips.
My main thing is enjoy it. Like, if I know, like, everyone wants to be the best, don't get me wrong, but if you turn up every day and you're like, I don't want to do this, don't do it, for one. Like, there's no need. Like, you can go do something else. There's plenty of other jobs in the world. But, if you don't enjoy it, what's the point in doing it, for one? 2, your discipline. I think that's a big thing, like, just turning up to your sessions. Like, I had it a lot when I was younger, like, my mates would be going out. Like, we're going to play football this time. And I'm like, can't. Go train, lads. You know what I mean? Like, I know at some points, like when you're a kid, it feels like I used to get it. Like my dad would be like, "Come on, we're going training." I'm like, "Oh, my mate's going out there." Nah, come on, we gotta go. I'm like, okay. But like when I look back at it,
so there were those times.
Of course,
where,
yeah. As a kid, like you always like it. Like my mates are going out, and I'm there like, come on, let me just go and play football once. Like, you know what I mean? Like I did go out. Don't get me wrong. Like on a Saturday after sparring, I'd go meet my mates. Like we'll go have a kickabout, end of like, but it was always only a Saturday or a Sunday.
Yeah. Like
I never used to go out in the week. There was no like come home from school, go meet my mates, where else. Like I never did that. Like for 11 years, I don't think I ever did it once. Like, you know what I mean? It's kind of like just get training. But
so your dad's support extended to making sure you were training, even on those days where you're like, I kind of want to break the routine.
The thing is, like, he would work his bollocks off the whole day for the point that he's now got to go take his training. So if then I come back home from school and be like, I'm not going today, he'd be like, fucking, I could have stayed at work then. You know what I mean? Like, he's one of them. He's one of them where he's like, I could just stayed at work then. But I'm thankful for it. You know what I mean? Like, he pushed me to go, but it weren't like, it was only like every now and again I'd be like, all my mates are meeting, come on, let me go. And like, it'd be like, sometimes he'd say, yeah, go on, like, go, like, you still got to fucking go see your mates, like, don't get me wrong, but,
he made sure it wasn't too much.
Every single day. I think if he would have let me go every single day, I probably would have went every single day. Like, you're a kid at the end of the day, like, bad influences, isn't there? Like people were saying to me, wait until you're 16, like, you know what I mean? But I think I still would have ended up going training. Like, I think I remember getting to year 10 and asking me to come out, and I just went, no. I was like, nah. So I don't want to come out. Like, I'm not have a kick about. Let me just go fucking train, like, at the end of the day. But by the time I got to year 10 and 11, I was like main training partners with some lads. So I couldn't turn up.
They were depending on you.
I had to turn up kind of, like, you know what I mean? Even now, like, some days, like, for Aiden in his last camp, like, I'm out of camp, I just fought, and I was just like, no, I got to turn. Like, my mates would be like, come out. I got to go training. Yeah. Like, people are relying on me, like, you know what I mean? So I'd go do that. But, yeah, you're disciplined, and then it's hard to get free, really. I think they're your main two.
I always ask it because, like, it's a trick question, because, like, really, there's never any just 3 keys.
It's
just to try and, like, pick out the gems that are really at the forefront.
I have a joke about it, and when people say, oh, lads, I say don't always. But, like, that's just a funny thing for me, because I'm like, fucking hell. Like when you see like a little kid and they come up to me, it's like, oh yeah, my lad started it. He's like 6, like same age as me. I'm like, we've been punched in the head. But like when I was younger, that was the normal thing. Like you still get punched. There's cadets now, innit? Like you don't get punched in the head till you're 18. So get involved, man. Like if you're gonna be punched in the head till you're 18, you're gonna do a lot of years in the game. So you may as well just get involved. Like you're not gonna get seriously hurt unless I don't know you break a bone or something. But touch wood,
that could happen playing football.
Rugby. Mate. That's what I think. My mum used to tell me as well. Like a lot of people would say to her, "Oh, how can you let your kid do it?" Like, but then she'd be like, "Well, you let your kid ride a motorbike for a sport. Like that's like 20 times worse." Like, but like I feel like mate, you can control it. Like if I'm going to get seriously hurt, it's probably my fault. I'm going to get seriously hurt. So, but like
this is the point I always make because people have always said to me, "Oh, you want to get punched in the face? I can't believe you want to get punched in the face," or like, you want to grapple, do all of this, like it's so rough, like you get injured. And what I say to them is like, because when I was a kid, I was never good at football, but I played for a team like for a year once. And I was scared of the ball. I used to like shy away from the ball. And what I always used to say to people was, like, when you're fighting, like the aim is for the other person to hurt you, but your aim is to stop them from hurting you. My full focus is on keeping myself safe, like you said, controlling it. When you're playing football, and especially something like rugby, your goal is to try and get the ball over the line.
Well, I was.
You're not. Then it's secondary that somebody might be blowing through your neck.
I was a prop. I was a prop in rugby, so like I was just the guy who was like, "Yeah, go on, Shay, go hit it." And then in football, I was a goalkeeper. So like when the ball came over, Shay hit him. So that was always me. It was like, someone needs to get the ball. Go on, Shay, go get the ball, and I'll go get it. Like pick him up, slam him. I remember my first rugby game. I got tackle of the day because I shot under him, picked him up on a double and slammed him. And I remember the ref blowing the whistle, and I was like, "What? I can't do that." They were like, "No, you can, but it's just too rough." I was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot. I'm like 13. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not doing this to grown blokes."
I remember that by the time, because like I said, I was not an athlete growing up whatsoever, terrible at all sports. By the time I got to year 11, and I'd done enough no-gi that we were playing rugby, like just in a PE session. I started like hip tossing people and doing all this. And the PE teacher, Mr. Bates, was like, "No, Aaron, no, you can't do that." And I was just enjoying the fact that I'm actually tackling people now.
To be funny enough, like I remember my last ever football game because my dad come and watch that. He used to play football. He used to play in goal as well. He didn't enjoy it. Like he never like enjoyed playing it. But I remember my last ever football game. I played in goal. I come out for the ball and I booted the ball, but I hit this kid's face. And I like shielded it out, but he like grabbed hold of me and tried to pull me over. So I was like I turned around and all I can hear is my dad go, "Go on, Shay, smash his fucking head in." And I was just there like, I remember turning around and thinking, "Yeah, how could you know?" And I went to go do it, and my teacher picks me up from behind. Yeah, this is like 5 minutes into the football game. Picks me up from behind and said like, "Nah, Shay, no." I was like, "Oh yeah, fair enough." But he kept going like, "I'm a national boxer." And one of the kids who plays on my team was like, "Yeah, go ahead then, go ahead." He was like, wanted it to happen. I was like, "Yeah, fight him then. But yeah, I remember my dad telling me that. I heard it. But like,
we're going to have to get your dad on this podcast,
you
mate.
can have him on. He's got some serious stories. But like, I remember him telling me after he was there, like, all the parents just go, "You can't shout that." He said, "Yeah, I fucking can." He just grabbed hold of him. And the worst of it was, it was my mate's parents. It was our own team going, "No, you can't shout that, like." And apparently he walked off like, he's like, "I can't watch this shit no more." I said like, "Yeah, fair play."
And that was your last football game.
That was the last one, and I lost. We lost it, by the way, 4-2. Fucking brutal, mate. I fucking hated every minute of it. Hated losing in football. We didn't lose in football that much either. I was a decent goalkeeper, but I fucking hated it. Like, I was out in the cold, in the wet rain, jumping on the floor. I said like, "Get me home, man. Get me home." Fucking hell. Yeah, but... Yeah. My dad was a good football player, to be fair. But I think a lot of like when my dad was younger, like he was a really good football player, but his parents never took him to the trials. Like he had trials with Villa in Nottingham and stuff. Like, but he never really got took to the trials. So I feel like he sees like a lot of him in me. Whereas like if he didn't take me these places like his parents did, he'd be like, "Fucking hell, like I've just let him down." You know what I mean? I think that's where he sees it from. So he's kind of like trying to push me to the best of my ability to what I can do. And if it fails, it fails. Like, he's a bit like, whatever. At least you tried. Kind of like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not a parent, but I think, because I'm forward-thinking and ambitious, so I already have an idea of how I want to raise my children. And I want to give them basically everything I didn't have.
Yeah,
I think that's the main thing as a parent.
Yeah.
you want to give your children, you forget about the things you did have, and like
Yeah,
you probably won't
yeah,
end up giving them
Yeah,
those,
yeah.
but you'll for
Yeah.
sure make sure they have what you didn't.
Yeah, yeah,
So I think
yeah.
that's probably
Well,
where
that's the
comes
thing,
from.
innit? My dad probably like enjoyed his life, went out every day with his schoolmates, but then like he probably, if he stayed and played football every day, probably would have made it as a professional footballer.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that's why he kind of hates football now. Like he knew what he could have done and he didn't do it. Like, you know what I mean? So he's just a bit like, fucking hell.
Maybe tainted.
Can't
with
watch that. Like,
little bit of regrets.
yeah. But I never enjoyed it anyway. When I was younger, when I was younger, I hated it. He put football on, was his crap on, put my TV shows on, and then I don't know. I got to about must have been about 13, 14, no, 11, 12. And I was like, oh, this is all right actually. Like, you know what I mean? I'll play it a bit, and I just played in goal because I got gloves. It was just natural to me. Having gloves on was natural to me, so I was there like, and I was like, all right, keep me warm, won't it? Didn't keep me warm, by the way, but that was it really.
We've come full circle back to football, standing in the cold and wet.
Yeah.
To finish it off for us, Shay, give us the manifesto. When it's all said and done, what do you want to have done? What do you want to be remembered for?
Just being the greatest of all time. That's it, really. Do you know, like Dana White is with John Jones at the minute? I want him to do it with me. That's what I want, really. That's it. But like, that's just my mindset. I just want to be the best. I want to come out of this and be like, that was the best fighter ever to do it. That's it.
I love it, man. I'm here for it, and I'm incredibly excited to watch it all unfold. Thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
My pleasure.
Cheers, mate.